Cowboys have won the toss and will receive the kickoff of Mike Michel to start this afternoon's game. And the wind is really swirling because there are little bitty orange flags at the top of the uprights on both ends of the field, and they're both blowing in. So that just gives you an indication of how the wind is swirling. Philadelphia Eagles are without John Bunting, their fine linebacker today. He's out with an injury. They're without Keith Crepley, their very fine tight end, who's out with an injury. And they're without Wade Key, their starting left guard, also injured. More about that later. Michel has it teed up to kick off to Blackwell and Johnson. And here with a play-by-play is Vern Lundquist.
Thank you, Brad. Cowboys will go left to right here in the first quarter. 32 degrees, 20-mile-an-hour wind. The wind chill factor is +6. Here's the kick, deep. Butch Johnson, a yard back. Will run it out to the 5, the 10, center of the field, the 15, the 20, and down at the 21-yard line. Tackle is made by John Shara, the former UCLA quarterback, who has made this ball club as a defensive back. And we initially want to welcome all of you listening around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. Good to have you with us. I know the last time that we were on, we received responses from Colombia and England and Germany and a ship that was plowing the Pacific Ocean between Lima, Peru, and Acapulco. And it's nice to have all of you joining us no matter where you're listening today. First down, 10, Cowboys at the 20. Up and down set, Laidlaw and Dorsett in the backfield. Dupree is off the line of scrimmage to the left side. Jackie Smith also in the ball game. Billy Joe in motion right side. Pitch out to Laidlaw. Comes left, circles the corner, picks up 5, and is down at the 26-yard line. Tackle made by Randy Logan. Let's set the Cowboy offensive line. Drew Pearson, the wide receiver. The tight ends, Billy Joe Dupree and Jackie Smith. The left tackle is Pat Donovan. The left guard, Herb Scott. The center, John Fitzgerald. Burton Lawless has come in now to bring the play in from Tom Rafferty. Rayfield Wright at right tackle, and Billy Joe Dupree, the tight end. The running backs are Scott Laidlaw and Tony Dorsett, and the quarterback is Roger Staubach. Gain of 6, second down and 4. Ball at the 27-yard line. High set. Now Dorsett goes to the left side. Tony Hill and Billy Joe Dupree are both split wide left, and Drew Pearson is wide right. Hill in motion across the backfield to the right side. Pitch out Dorsett to the left. As Laidlaw leading the way. Tony across the 30, spilled at the 33. It'll be a first down 10 for the Cowboys. The tackle made by the left defensive end, the right defensive end, Carl Hairston. We will set the Philadelphia defense for you. Up front, the 3-4 defense. Carl Hairston, Charlie Johnson, and Dennis Harrison. The linebackers are Drew Mahalik, Frank Lemaster, Bill Berge, and Reggie Wilkes. The cornerbacks are Herman Edwards and Bobby Howard. And the safeties are Randy Logan and John Sanders. First down 10, Dallas at their own 33-yard line. Opening moments of the game on a sunny but blustery day in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Big split behind Staubach. He has run the first 2 times. He will this time as he hands it off to Laidlaw. Straight over John Fitzgerald back at the center. Out to near the 38-yard line as Frank Lemaster makes the tackle.
It'll be very interesting to see what difference, if any, the additions of Fitzgerald and Dorsett can make. Of course, a lot of the psychology is different. The Cowboys were still struggling a little bit at midseason when the Eagles came to Dallas. But again, Dorsett, that was the week that he was benched. And I have a feeling he might like to show the Eagles that he's still around a little bit.
Of course, the club record of 206 yards was set a year ago by Tony against this team in Texas Stadium. Second down and 5. The handoff, Dorsett goes left with Wallace in front. Skips the tackle, is up near the 42-yard line, and will be close for another first down. Carl Hairston made the stop that time. Burton Lawless, pulling from right guard, was leading the way around the left side. He'll be a yard short. It'll be third down. Well, make it 2 yards too short. The ball will be spotted at the 41-yard line.
We ought to point out, though, that on his first carry, Tony surpassed the yardage he needed to set a Cowboy single-season rushing mark, passing the old record that had been established by Calvin Hill. He only needed 2 yards, and he's carried twice for 9 on the day.
12:14 to go first quarter. No score. Cowboys third down 2 at their own 41. Split in the backfield. Laidlaw to the left, Dorsett to the right. Motion now from Drew Pearson all the way across the offensive line, and Roger rolls out to throw for the first time. Looks for the screen pass, fires it to Dorsett, and he drops the football. It'll be fourth down. Tony had the first down at the 45, but it hit him in the right shoulder, and he dropped it.
Well, and I think the cold got to him a little bit. I think all the receivers are going to have to get used to the ball today. Tony was definitely open and was a little iron-fingered on that one, and he was immediately tackled and spoken to by his dear old friend Bill Berge.
John Shara is the deep man for Philadelphia on the punting effort by Danny White. 4th and 2, Cowboys at the 41. Unable to keep the drive sustained in their opening sequence of the ball game. D.D. Lewis is over the ball. See if D.D. he does pop his head, but nobody goes for it. And here's the kick by Danny White. High, reasonably long, and Shara's back there, has it. Henderson misses the tackle. Shara is up to the 30-yard line and still going to the 34. There's a flag down to the far side of the field. Oh, Henderson was down there and absolutely missed the open field tackle on John Shara. Just slithered down him like there was oil on the telephone pole.
Can't imagine how he missed that. You almost expected Shara to call for a fair catch because Henderson was right in his face, but he didn't. However, the walk-off looks like it's going to come against Philadelphia. In fact, it definitely is going to be against the Eagles.
We will not have the referee Mike today, so we will tell you what he indicates. Here's the penalty call against Philadelphia. It'll be half the distance, and they will spot the ball at the 15-yard line.
Referee's not Mike, it's Gene.
Mike Barnes. Gene Barnes. Yes, he's not Mike. Thank you. You're a big help. I'll get even with you. Flipping call against the Eagles. First down, Philadelphia at their own 15. And their starting offensive lineup. Left tackle Stan Walters, the left guard Wade Key, the center Guy Morris, Woody Peoples, Jerry Sizemore, and Richard Osborne, the tight end. Charlie Smith and Harold Carmichael, the wide receivers. The running backs Wilbert Montgomery and Mike Hogan, and the quarterback is Ron Jaworski. First down 10 at the 15. Jaworski with a long count. Maybe throwing, he is. 2 steps back, right flat, caught by Carmichael. He has now caught a pass in 96 consecutive games. There is a fumble and picked up by the Cowboys, and they return it to the 5-yard line. Carmichael fumbled the ball. It was alertly picked up by the Cowboys, and they return it to the 5. That happened almost in slow motion as Carmichael laid down, rolled right out of possession of the football, and I believe it was Benny Barnes who picked it up and returned it to the 5-yard line.
Benny and Charlie Waters were right in the area. The Cowboys, or rather the Eagles, and especially the quarterback Jaworski, are complaining vehemently that the play should have been blown dead, and that perhaps Carmichael thought it was over and rolled away from it. But it was very alertly. That's just a great example of how you don't ever let up until the official sets the ball, because it was picked up by Barnes and run all the way back to the 5, and the Cowboys are in great shape now to punch one in early.
What a crazy play. It almost developed in slow motion. Double tight end offense at the 5-yard line. Laidlaw, right side. Now shifts directly behind Starbuck. Dorsett to the left. Roger has it, flips the ball to Scott. He puts his head down and pulls over left guard down to the 3-yard line. It'll be second down goal at the 3. Well, Carmichael keeps his string alive, but fumbled the football after the catch at about the 27-yard line. And a crazy, crazy play.
Does it seem to you that everybody is moving as though the ground were covered in mud today? Nobody seems to really. I think they're probably going to take a while to loosen up. They look like they're sloshing around.
It's a little cold. Second down goal at the 3.5-yard line. Jackie Smith, tight right. Billy Joe Dupree, tight left. Rayfield Wright is also in as a tight end. And Smith, the wingback. The handoff, Laidlaw, driving for the goal line and caught a yard short. Went straight up the pike that time. And it will be third and goal from about the 1.
He did a good job of spinning off the pile-up of tacklers off to the left side of the pile to get down as far as the 1, and Ken Clark, a backup middle guard, came in and brought him down, but Scott had to battle to get it down that far.
Our vantage point is the 25, the left 25, so they're down at the opposite end. Here are the Cowboys at the line of scrimmage on third down and goal. Up and down set by the offensive line. Roger under John Fitzgerald. The handoff, Laidlaw. Touchdown, left side.
Hole opened over there, and Laidlaw just powered through. Very interesting that Tom Landry has decided on 5 out of 7 running plays to give the ball to Scott Laidlaw today. All 3 times to the fullback down there inside the 5 in what the Cowboys definitely refer to as their plus territory. And Scott finally punched it in, so it's 6-0, and Rafael Septien will try to convert the touchdown.
Johnny Waters will hold for the extra point that comes early with 10-11 still to go in the first quarter. Tom Rafferty will center. Here's the snap, Septien's kick, right through the middle. There's a timeout on the field with our score, Dallas 7, Philadelphia nothing. Dallas Cowboy football continues after this word.
Saturday in the National Football League, Terry Bradshaw threw for 240 yards and 3 touchdowns in a steady snow at Three Rivers Stadium to lead Pittsburgh to a 35-13 victory over Baltimore, and that win assures the Steelers of the home field advantage throughout the American Conference playoffs on the basis of their 13-2 record, the best in the National Football League. At Pontiac, Michigan, Detroit's Gary Danielson threw 5 touchdown passes. That's high in the National Football League this season and a new club record. And he passed for 352 yards to help the Lions end a decade of frustration with a 45-14 rout over Minnesota, dealing the Vikings' playoff hopes a crushing blow. On the schedule in the National Football League, in addition to the game you're listening to right now, Buffalo is at New England, the Jets are at Buffalo, St. Louis is at the Giants, and Washington is at Atlanta. In the Giants game, Joe Danilo has hit a 30-yard field goal. The Giants lead that game by the score of 3-0. At Cleveland Hill, a 2-yard run. Cleveland 7, Jets nothing, first period.
At the end, will kick off for the Cowboys now. Louis Jamona from Utah State and Billy Campfield from Kansas. A rookie and a second-year pro are deep for the kickoff. Jamona waits at the 10, and Campfield is back to the 5. Well, they have changed now. We could not see, quite frankly. It happened so quickly, but Cliff Harris picked up that fumble and returned it to the 5-yard line. It was the Cowboys' free safety who got it instead of Benny Barnes. And it alertly leads to a Cowboy touchdown, 7-0, with 4 minutes and 49 seconds gone in the first quarter. Here's Septien with a kick. It'll be short. Jamona waits for it, has it at the 15-yard line. Comes left to the 20, 25, gets outside to the 30, spilled up at the 37-yard line. Nice return on a very short kick by Raphael Septien.
Nice block by Ray Phillips of the Eagles. The guys who go down there and block on special teams never get their name mentioned. And when they do something well, then they ought to be recognized. Ray Phillips threw a good block on Dave Stalls, through which Giamona, who used to play for the Jets, spun. And Giamona's one of those fellows who's come in here to replace injured people. The Eagles have had a lot of banged up folks all year.
First down 10. Here comes Philadelphia at their own 37, trailing 7-0. Carmichael left side. Charlie Smith off to the right, and there's an extra wide receiver in there also. Big split behind Ron Jaworski on first down 10. Jaworski will throw again on first down. Looks to his right. As time goes across the middle, incomplete. A little behind the intended receiver Charlie Smith at the Cowboy 44-yard line. But he had good blocking from his offensive line.
We ought to say a word about those guys because they are really an underrated line. We tried to make this point, I think, when the Eagles came to Texas Stadium earlier, but the acquisition of Woody Peoples, the veteran free agent guard, allowed Dick Vermeil to move Jerry Sizemore, the former Longhorn, out to tackle where he's really better suited. And they, in Sizemore and Stan Walters, they have as good a pair of tackles as you'll find anywhere.
Ken Payne is in as a third wide receiver as Philadelphia is going with a 3 wide receiver offense and no tight end. 2 wide receivers wide right. Blitz is on as Jaworski's going to throw. They got him. Randy White has him wrapped up back to the 33. Randy White fought through the block of Wade Key and was up shoulder high with the tackle.
Well, he would have fought through the block if Wade Key had Wade been there, but that's
Tom Lucan.
That's the example of how they miss Key, who's a very good guard. Lucan is playing in his place. And Randy White was held off of the play for a moment by Lucan, and he saw Jaworski step up in the pocket, and then he just threw Lucan aside like a sack of potatoes and got his first sack of the day. Randy White's got to be all pro, Bert.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Third down at 12, Philadelphia. They've got the ball now back at their own 34. 3 wide receivers set once again. Jaworski with both backs widely split in the backfield. They stay in. He goes back to throw. Coxon fires right side, intercepted. It's picked off by Benny Barnes to the 40, the 30, down the sideline to the 20-yard line and spilled at the 15. Benny Barnes stepped right in front of the intended receiver and had acres to run down the left side. The Cowboys have their second turnover of the first quarter.
There's not any question about whether that was Benny Barnes or not, and Benny played that perfectly. A cornerback couldn't play a ball any better than Benny did. Stepped right in front of the receiver, as Vern said, saw the ball coming, and was able to, he didn't even have to leap up in the air. He did a little hop in order to catch it at his midsection. And then a fine return of the ball. They get it all the way back to the 15-yard line. And the Cowboys have 2 turnovers, or I'm going to tell you a turnover statistic that's interesting in a minute.
First down 10, Tony Hill and Drew Pearson wide right at the Philadelphia 15-yard line. Cowboys hoping to go up 14-0 in the first quarter. Here's the handoff play action. Rogers back to throw instead. Looks left, lifts the screen out to Dorsett at the 15, the 10, the 5. He will stroll in standing up. Touchdown Cowboys. Tony was never touched. And Roger Staubach has now tied Don Meredith for number of touchdown passes in a single season. That was number 24.
Tony got a block and a half from Herb Scott, leading the convoy out on the flank. Just to go back for a moment, that was Benny Barnes' 5th interception of the year. That leads the Cowboys. But Staubach was looking elsewhere. He wanted to find something over the middle, I think, but couldn't find anything. The blocking, a great block by Herb Scott, and Dorsett romps in, and here's Septien to try the point.
It could be 14-0 with only 6 minutes gone in the first quarter. Tom Rafferty will center. Here it comes. Here's Septien's kick. Nailed it. There's a timeout on the field with our score. The Dallas Cowboys 14. The Philadelphia Eagles nothing. Dallas Cowboy football continues in a moment.
At Atlanta, the Atlanta Falcons leading the Washington Redskins 7-0. Atlanta scoring on 6 plays after taking the opening kickoff, stand back on a 1-yard run, PAT good. So Atlanta 7, Washington nothing in the first period at Atlanta. Underway a little bit later on, Green Bay at Chicago and Houston at New Orleans. Then later, Kansas City at Denver, Oakland at Miami, Tampa Bay at San Francisco, Seattle at San Diego. On Saturday, Pittsburgh 35, Baltimore 13, Detroit 45, Minnesota 14. The Vikings are still in the playoff picture, but boy, they're hanging on by their fingernails after that devastating loss to the Detroit Lions on Saturday. Minnesota now 8 wins, 6 losses, and a tie. The Green Bay Packers right now leading by a half a game. Green Bay is in action a little bit later on at Chicago.
Raphael Septien will kick off for the second time in the first quarter. We have 8:59 remaining. We have played 9 minutes and 1 quarter. And 9 minutes, hello there. We have played 6 minutes and 1 second. 9 minutes and 1 quarter, right?
Okay.
How cold is it? Well, I'm going to tell you it's cold.
But it's not as cold as you were yesterday.
And I'll tell you about that later on, boy. Jackson, Mississippi, of all places. Septien will kick off. Camfield and Jamona are deep. Here's the kick, a pooch kick by Septien. It bounces at the 25, fumbled at the 20. They pick it up and try to return. It goes right. They're down at the 25-yard line. Other scores, Atlanta leading Washington 7-0 first quarter.
Big game.
Cleveland leading the Jets 7-0 first quarter.
That's also a big game, by the way. Right now, both those teams still in contention.
And the Giants leading St. Louis 3-0. That is not a big game.
No, and that won't hold up either. So let me tell you a little bit about turnovers. The Cowboys are still -7th for the season in the turnover department. In the last 4 weeks, however, they are +6. Now they're +8.
That is why they have turned it around.
Precisely.
First down, 10 Eagles. They have not run the ball yet. 2 passing completions. 1 to our guys, 1 to their guys. Here's Carmichael in motion. The pitch out goes right side. Behind the line of scrimmage is Mike Hogan. He is filled up across the line by Ed Jones at the 27-yard line. It was Wilbert Montgomery. Very difficult, and I don't mean to make excuses, but from where we are at the 25, when they are down in that end of the field, the vantage point is a little tough, and we do not have the advantage of the Magnavox monitor here.
Right. It's a long way away down there. And Montgomery, keep in mind, was held to 57 yards by the Cowboys at Texas Stadium, and in spite of that and missing 3 games at midseason, he's become only the second Eagle ever to go over 1,000 yards in the season.
14-0, 8-11 to go first quarter. Mike Hogan and Wilbert Montgomery a little mixed up in the backfield. Now they get set. The Eagles will have to hurry to get the play off. It's second down and 8. Jaworski has this pitch out right side. Wilbert Montgomery being chased and hauled down by Thomas Henderson, and there is a flag on the play.
So a great play by Thomas, who penetrated very quickly, and he had Montgomery right around the hips, and he could only drag him for about a step or two, but we'll see whence goeth the flag.
Option apparently resting with the Cowboys, and it may be a clip. And apparently Dallas will take the penalty. Yep, Gene Barth will walk it off, and it'll be a big one. Or holding, let's see. Flipping or holding? Holding.
May I tell you, by the way, that I am delighted just for humanitarian reasons to see that the Eagles cheerleaders have put on their green warm-up suits. Ooh, those young ladies were prancing about entirely underdressed a little earlier for the temperature.
They look now like a good-looking women's basketball team with their warm-up. Right. It'll be second down at 18 or something. Here's Jaworski handing it off on the middle. Wilbert Montgomery coming left. Ed Jones knocks him down at the 20. He picked up about 7 yards. And it was Randy Hughes instead of Ed Jones. 42 instead of 72. It will be third down at about 13. Cowboys recovered a fumble. Cliff Harris picked it up at about the 27, returned it to the 5. And Benny Barnes with a pass interception. Those two plays led to the 2 Cowboy touchdowns.
You probably know this, but I just want to test your Eagle trivia. You know who the other 1,000-yard back in their history was.
Well, I knew you were going to ask me, and I'm stumped.
Really?
The first 1,000-yard runner in the NFL, Steve Van Buren.
That's correct.
Boy, I tell you what. I dragged that out of the cobweb. Here's Jaworski back to throw, but they have whistled the play dead. He was the first 1,000-yard runner, was he not?
No, I think that honor went to Beatty Feathers.
Thank you, sir. You're right. Who?
Beatty Feathers, who was at the time playing for the Chicago Cardinals, I believe.
Okay. Delay of game against the Eagles. They did not get the play off in the allotted 30 seconds. They will mark off 5 more yards, and it will now be third down 18. I'll tell you, it's 32 degrees here with a 20-mile-an-hour wind. Yesterday in Jackson, Mississippi, it was 32 with a 20-mile-an-hour wind. But I feel 40 degrees warmer.
Yeah, well, you had a little rain added to that, didn't you?
Rain, and we were on the roof. I have never, ever been that cold.
Let me have rain on the
including Green Bay, including Cleveland on the roof, including here, Washington, the Giants.
Spent a lot of time on roofs.
Oh, it was the coldest day I've ever had in my life. The handoff up the middle. I mean, it was the kind of cold that would be fourth down that reached in and permeated your body and demanded a payment of pain. I beg your pardon. Oh, it was just
off cash on demand.
Cash was there. Cash wanted to kill me for inviting him to Jackson. He said, never again.
That would be Joe Cash.
Spotter. We better identify him. Fourth down. Mike Michelle back to punt. Butch Johnson will wait for it. Here's the kick, almost blocked. It'll be a short kick. Johnson at the 45, to the 50, goes left. Out of a tackle at the 45 of Philadelphia and knocked out of bounds at the 44. Cleveland Franklin, former Baylor running back, made the stop, and the Cowboys, on their 4th possession of the first quarter, have tremendous field position again. There's a timeout on the field with our score, the Dallas Cowboys 14, the Philadelphia Eagles nothing. Dallas Cowboy football continues after this word.
In the National Football League Saturday, Pittsburgh 35, Baltimore 13, Detroit 45, Minnesota 14. In college football, Eastern Illinois 10, Delaware 9. That was the NCAA Division II final. And in the NCAA Division I AA semifinal, Massachusetts 44, Nevada-Reno 21. In college basketball Saturday, Notre Dame 81, UCLA 78, Michigan State 92, Fullerton State 89, Louisville 101, Idaho 54, Kentucky 67, Kansas 66 in overtime. Texas 85, Oklahoma State 70, Michigan 66, Dayton 61, North Carolina State 108, Campbell 83, Indiana 80, Bradley 64, North Carolina 85, Jacksonville 56, Syracuse 70, Rhode Island 68, San Francisco 78, Sacramento State 59.
Back to play with a 14-0 lead, 6.5 to go first quarter. Vern Lundquist along with Brad Sham at Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium on the 10th day of December. Drew Pearson breaks wide to the left side, a double tight end set again. Jackie Smith and Billy Joe Dupree are both to the right side. Smith is in a wing. Now Jackie Smith in motion. The handoff up the middle to Dorsett. He is hit at the 40 and knocked down at the 39. That's that same play that usually gains a bundle.
You know, we know that play now.
That's right.
Wouldn't you think that the other folk would know that play and that there'd be a linebacker out there as smart as Berge who would see that tight end go in motion and see him stop, and somebody would just run right to that place.
The problem you've got is that tight end is a pretty big guy. And he's got the capacity for knocking somebody down if they get there.
Two guys run over there.
Okay. Second down and 5. I formation with 2 wide receivers wide right. Dupree to the left. Tony Hill starts in motion. Play action. Roger back to throw. Fires to the right. It is caught. Drew Pearson now has a consecutive game string of 1.
And he was wide open on that play. Vern, I have to say that I think you probably share this because we talked about it on the bus, but I'm really a little surprised. I thought the Cowboys were going to be flat today, and from talking to a couple of the players in the locker room, into which we can get on the road, I thought that perhaps the same thing was felt by some of the players. They had clinched the playoff spot. They had to reach a little deeper for the incentive. And I really expect them to be a little flat and then catch themselves late in the game. But it hadn't worked out that way.
Not at all so far. It's a first down 10 at the 31. Dupree starts in motion wide right. Tom Rafferty moves preliminarily. And it'll be a 5-yard penalty against the Cowboys, which draws a standing ovation from the crowd. Those are derisive cheers, folks. And if we were here on the 17th and Santa Claus was coming in, this is where they did boo Santa Claus for you.
Also ought to say a word about Staubach, because he has made an unbelievable statistical recovery from the early part of the year when he struggled. Roger Staubach, friends, is now the #1 ranked passer in the National Football League, ahead of Greasy, ahead of Bradshaw, ahead of Manning. We'll tell you more in a minute.
First down 15. Dupree to the left side. Dorsett shifting as the deep back in the eye. Tony Hill wide right. Dupree comes in motion to pitch out to Dorsett. Gets a block play ball. There was a tremendous defensive play made by Randy Logan, the strong safety who fought off the block of Scott Laidlaw and still made the tackle.
Just to follow up on what we're saying about Roger, he had the interception problems early, but he has come back to where he's now the #1 ranked passer in the league. Not the NFC, the league. He's the only guy in the NFL who's thrown for 3,000 yards. He's got the best average per attempt. And here's one more where I'll save this interception statistic till after the next play.
Second down, a loss on the last play of 1. It's second down at 16, shotgun formation. Preston Pearson is in the lineup. He is to the right side. Dorsett to the left. The snap back, the 3-man rush. Roger in the pocket, has time, and drills it deep, and it's caught. The catch is made down at the 27. It'll be third down by Tony Hill. And the tackle made by Frank Lemester. It will be third down at about 5. The interception stat.
Yeah, and I know statistics bore people for a while, but I think Rodgers are so remarkable in the last half of the season that they just bear repeating. Staubach, in his first 110 attempts this year, threw 7 interceptions. In his last 95 coming into the game, he's thrown 1. And that's one of the biggest reasons the Cowboys have turned it around.
Third down and 6 for the Cowboys at the 27-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles. Shotgun again. Fitzgerald snaps it back. Roger has trouble controlling the snap. Now fires it, and it is almost intercepted at the 20-yard line.
Looking for Preston Pearson in double coverage, and Berkey was there, and he had Preston from behind, but Reggie Wilkes, their fine young linebacker, was the guy who almost picked it up. And you may not have heard of Reggie Wilkes, but he was named to UPI's all-rookie team this week, and you're going to hear about him in the future. Vermeil thinks the guy's a heck of a player, like a 6th-round draft choice, which is the highest thing the Eagles have had.
On fourth down, Raphael Septien will try a field goal from the 34-yard line. A 44-yard kick into a swirling wind. This could make it 17-0. Here's the snap, and Septien's kick on the way and going left. Did he get it? No, he did not. Into the wind and short. And the Eagles get the ball back at their own 27-yard line, following the unsuccessful field goal attempt from 44 yards out. There's the timeout on the field with our score. The Dallas Cowboys 14, the Eagles nothing.
In college basketball action on Saturday, Louisiana State 98, Tulane 88, Villanova 86, Rutgers 67, Marquette 74, Missouri 57. In the National Basketball Association, Chicago 101, New York 96, Cleveland 115, Philadelphia 107, New Jersey 125, San Diego 120, Washington 101, Phoenix 98, Cleveland 115, Philadelphia 107, Houston 116, Portland 110, Kansas City 132, Detroit 108. It was Denver 113, Milwaukee 103, Golden State 94, Atlanta 84. After Saturday play, the closest lead in the division, in the Central Division of the NBA, Atlanta, was just a half a game lead over San Antonio and Houston. Kansas City leads Denver by 2.5 in the Midwest Division.
Eagles get it back after the unsuccessful field goal attempt by Raphael Septien. They have it at their own 27-yard line. 4:05 to go first quarter, and the Cowboys on top 14-0 following 2 turnovers, a fumble return and a pass interception by Benny Barnes. Laidlaw has one from a yard out, and Tony Dorsett scored on a pass from Roger Staubach from 15. Jaworski brings him up to the line. His backs are in the eye. Again, the three wide receiver set. Jaworski looking into the eyes of the Cowboy defense. They are in the prevent defense, by golly. Here's the handoff. It goes to Wilbert Montgomery at right guard. He's across the 30 to the 31, and Randy White makes the tackle. Well, with that three wide receiver offensive set, the Cowboys have brought in Randy Hughes as an extra defensive back, and Mike Hageman as an extra linebacker. Hageman is in there in place of D.D. Lewis, and Hughes is in place of Bob Bruning. It's a gain of 5, second down, and 5. Well, they've officially called it 4. Ken Payne and Charles Smith break wide left, and Carmichael goes wide right, and Charlie Waters will be one-on-one with him. With no tight end, the strong safety goes out to cover the wide receiver. It's second down. Jaworski handoff in tight to Mike Hogan across the 35-yard line, or the 36. Hageman with the tackle. Let's pause 15 seconds for station identification. This is the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
Double tight end offense for the Eagles on third down and 1 at their own 35. They are looking for their first down of the game. And a wing to the right side. Larry Barnes is in the backfield along with Mike Hogan. Two fullbacks. The handoff, a pitch back, the same play the Cowboys ran last week. Jaworski rolls out. He does not have a man open. Larry Cole chases in. Jaworski down the sideline. First down and out of bounds at the Cowboys' 49-yard line. The identical play the Cowboys tried for a touchdown against the New England Patriots last week. The handoff to Barnes. He pitches back to Jaworski, but there was nobody open deep that Jaworski ran for the first down.
It turned out to be a good play for the Eagles because Jaworski freelanced it, but you must give a ton of credit to Charlie Waters for the way he covered Harold Carmichael, who was the intended receiver. Jaworski straightened up when he got the ball back and looked at him, and unlike Tim Fox a week ago, Charlie didn't take the run fake. He stayed with Carmichael, and then Jaworski had to run it, but he did get the first down.
That's something that Dick Vermeil would pull that play out of the game film. First down 10, just across the 50, inside handoff. Wilbert Montgomery runs into his own man, Stan Walters, and then bounces off that and goes to the right side. Ed Jones makes the tackle after a gain of 3 or 4. There's a Cowboy down in the field. It's Harvey Martin. And the Philadelphia crowd is cheering the fact that Martin is hurt. Sorry, folks, it's Bush League.
Larry Bethea's already come on. He'll replace Harvey for the next play, at least. The way he's reacting, it doesn't look like it's the knee or the thigh that have given him trouble before, but the doctors are going to turn him over now and see if they can work on him a little.
There's a momentary break in the action, so let's pause. For this, you're listening to Dallas Cowboy football.
At the end of the first quarter at Cleveland, it's Cleveland leading the New York Jets by the score of 7-0. In this football game here, you're listening to on the Parade of Sports, Laidlaw scoring on a 1-yard run for Dallas early in the first quarter. Then on the next possession, a 15-yard pass from Staubach to Dorsett, and that's it. Dallas leading Philadelphia 14-0. Atlanta leading Washington 7-0 in their first quarter of that game at Atlanta.
Harvey is still down at the 45, and now the crowd is booing the fact that he is still on the field.
Well, this crowd is, I really had not, frankly, had much of a negative feeling about them booing before. It's kind of funny, but this is really, you're right. It's just Bush League. That's all there is to it.
They cheered when he was injured. Now they're booing that he's taking so long to get off the field. Harvey is up and walking off, and it's probably not right to guess from here, but I would think, Brad, the way he's walking, and heaven knows we hope this to be the case, that he was just knocked a little groggy. I'm not sure.
I think that's right, because the doctors didn't seem to be working on his knee or his leg at all.
Larry Bethea is in at right end now, and here come the Eagles as Harvey has been taken to the Cowboy bench. Jaworski has 2 wide receivers left side. Carmichael is wide right. On second down and 7 at the Cowboy 47. Jaworski will throw. Looks right, steps up strong, fires it deep, and it's caught by Carmichael at the Cowboy 30. Breaks the tackle. He's to the 20, the 15, the 10, and hauled out from behind at the 5-yard line. Bob Rudick saves 6. They had a clear
mixed up in the coverage because D.D. Lewis was the guy who was out on the wing covering Carmichael. Of course, they're running that 3 wide receiver offense, which is one thing that happens, and that's one reason they're doing it. They love to have a guy like Carmichael isolated on Lewis, and for a moment, D.D. stayed with him, but then playing his zone, he hung off as he's supposed to do, and Carmichael slipped right between Lewis and the safety, made the catch, and then there were some badly missed tackles, and the Eagles are down at the 6-yard line, and they're going to send a tight end in, but they're going to call time first because they got a little confused. All of a sudden, that 14-point lead doesn't look so fat.
And the crowd is booing the timeout. There's a timeout on the field with our score. The Cowboys 14, Philadelphia nothing. Dallas Cowboy football continues in a moment.
In the National Hockey League Saturday, Detroit 5, the Rangers 4, the Islanders 3, Toronto 2, Philadelphia 9, Boston 2, Washington 7, Vancouver 5, Buffalo and Pittsburgh a 4-4 tie, Chicago 4, St. Louis 2, Minnesota 3, Colorado nothing, Los Angeles 5, Atlanta 1. In the World Hockey Association Saturday, Quebec 4, Cincinnati 3, Birmingham 6, Edmonton 2. The Rangers are leading Atlanta, and the Islanders are leading Atlanta and the Rangers by 5 points in the National Hockey League's Campbell Conference Patrick Division. Vancouver is leading Chicago by just 1 point in the Smythe Division. It's a 9-point lead for Montreal over Los Angeles in the North Division of the Wales Conference, and Boston is leading Toronto by 9 points in the Adams Division. Quebec is a leader by 1 point over Cincinnati and New England in the World Hockey Association standings.
Eagles, as they do periodically, will use John Shara at quarterback on a short yardage situation. And he's in there now. Double tight end set as well. First and goal from the 5. Shara calling the signals. Runs the option well. Hands it off. Rolls out to his right. Pulls up, being chased. He is knocked out of bounds at the 1 by Bob Rudick. Shara on the roll. It'll be second down and goal at the 1.
He does that very well. Of course, he did it so well for Vermeil at UCLA as a quarterback. And he looks upfield. Ed Jones was putting the pressure on from behind, but of course only got 5 yards to go. Now Jaworski's back in, and the crowd applauds the work of Shara getting those 4 yards. He got about 4.5. The Eagles are right on the doorstep.
Here comes Philadelphia. They can cut the lead in half with 1:03 to go first quarter. Jaworski calls for quiet. It's second down and goal just outside the end zone. Double tight end set again. Jaworski marking out the signals. Inside handoff. Hogan, touchdown. A flag is down. So we'll see. There is a flag on the far side of the field. But I think it's going to be against the Cowboys. Offside. Dallas declined. Touchdown. Well, you've seen this in pro football and college football. A team will get off to an easy lead and then become a little complacent, and all of a sudden it gets tough to get the momentum back. Cowboys could very easily be out in front 17-0. But instead, it's 14-6 and the extra point to come from Mike Michel. Here is the snap and Michel's kick. Up and good. There's a momentary break in the action, so let's pause. For this, you're listening to Dallas Cowboy football.
In the history of the NBA, only one team has finished a season making at least half of its field goal attempts. The Milwaukee Bucks in the 70-71 season, and led by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the Bucks hit for a .509 percentage. That's almost 51%, and that carried them into the league championship. So far this season, the Los Angeles Lakers, also led by center Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, have converted 1,134 of their 2,150 field goal attempts for an average of almost 53%.
Philadelphia takes
Lakers
13
are just
minutes before they get on the board. 13 minutes and 1 second. They are on the board now. We've got a brand new ball game at 14-7.
The San Antonio Spurs are shooting just about 51%, and the Phoenix Suns are shooting
Cowboys
just
had to drive
about
only 5 yards for 1 touchdown and 15 for the other.
In field goal percentage with a
Philadelphia drive
59% mark. Adrian Dantley joins him along the top 10 seniors in the league this year. Artis Gilmore of Chicago is the league leader. He's hitting on almost 64% of his shots in the field.
Center of the field, flips and falls at the 17. He will not like the way he looks in the film.
No. The Rex Reed of the football world, Mr. Landry, will frown on that and probably give it a half a star. Nobody
Teddy Nearbush when he fell down. Cowboys have the ball on offense, 5th time in the first quarter. They have scored twice. Danny White punted once. They missed a field goal once. And they've got it for number 5 right now. First down 10 at the 18. That's where it's been spotted. Staubach leads him up. John Fitzgerald over the ball. Dorsett goes in a wing to the left. He will shift, and now does. Comes into the backfield. Double tight end set. Jackie Smith lines up wing to the right side. Roger hands it off to Dorsett. Tony comes right, runs into a traffic jam at the 20. He picks up 2 yards. It'll be second down and 8. Drew Mahalik in the middle of it all, defensively. And down low is Charlie Johnson, the nose guard, and Bill Berkey, the linebacker. Burton Wallace and Tony Hill come in. Tom Rafferty and Jackie Smith go out. Second down 8. Dorsett now with 5 carries for 16 yards. And Laidlaw has 5 for 16.
Eagles have been tough to run on this year. They're number 3 in the NFC defending the run, and they are dead last in pass defense, which means total yardage.
Second down, 7 officially. They gave Dorsett 3 yards in the last play. Both wide receivers wide to the right side and Dupree tight left. Now Tony Hill in motion. Goes inside, the handoff to Dorsett, wrapped and knocked down. Dennis Harrison got him around the shoulders on the attempted deception, which did not work. It'll be third down and 6.
They tried that little end in motion play with Tony Hill that time, and he's not the blocker Jackie Smith is.
That's the end of the quarter with our score. Dallas 14 and Philadelphia 7. Dallas Cowboy football will continue after this word.
The Dallas Cowboys are the offensive leaders in the National Football League. They lead in the entire National Football League in total offense. They lead the National Conference in rush offense, and they lead the entire National Football League in pass offense. The top defensive team in the National Football League is the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams lead the league in total defense and also lead the league in pass defense. The conference leader in rush defense is the Dallas Cowboys. In the American Football Conference, the offense total leader, the New England Patriots. The Patriots are also the top team in the National Football League in rush offense. The top passing offensive team in the American Football Conference, the Seattle Seahawks. Pittsburgh is the top total defensive team in the American Football Conference. New England the top against the rush, and the top team against the pass in the American Conference, the Buffalo Bills.
Back to play at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. We'll use the hand mic. Welcome back to Veterans Stadium, everybody. Vern Lundquist with microphone problems, along with Brad Sham. The Cowboys leading Philadelphia 14-7. And they have a third down and 6 right now at their own 15-yard line.
And as we switch mics once more, the Cowboys offensively will put it in play, as Vern said, at the 16.
Good to have your microphone on now. Hey, you kept these headsets nice and warm. Thank you, sir.
What the analyst is for.
It's third down and 6 for the Cowboys at the 22-yard line. Shotgun formation for Dallas. Dupree is split wide right side, and I just about lost the mic again, but we got it back. Here's Staubach, shovel pass. Goes to Preston Pearson, knocked down for a loss of 1 at the 21-yard line. It'll be fourth down. Ed Clark made the tackle. Fourth down. Danny White on the punt.
Eagle defense pretty excited about the way they've held the Cowboys that time. I thought to myself when the Cowboys came out to start the drive, well, we're going to see now, because as you pointed out, Vern, they've driven 5 yards, they've driven 15 yards, and we haven't really seen them tested yet. And the Eagles now I'm afraid to say, we're seeing that little bit of flatness that we saw earlier on from the Cowboys.
Danny White is back at the 5-yard line to punt. John Shaw waits for it at the Philadelphia 38-yard line. On fourth down and 8. Eagles went 73 last time they had the ball. Here's the snap for White. Right side, it almost got away from him. Danny kicked it nicely. Shaw back at the 33-yard line. Being chased by Benny Barnes. He's to the 40, 45, and down at the 48-yard line. Well, folks, if you've ever wondered how Gary Brandt earns his money on the road, you would know today. We've had tape problems. He's been working on those for a quarter. We've got microphone problems. He's been handling those, and he also hands me a card that says, there's a timeout on the field with our score. Dallas 14, Philadelphia 7. Dallas Cowboy football continues in a moment.
Three National Football League quarterbacks have set new standards for their respective clubs through the 14th week of the 1978 campaign, highlighted by Viking Fran Tarkenton's assault on the NFL passing records. Roger Staubach of the Cowboys and Archie Manning of the Saints are the other record setters. Tarkenton became the first National Football League player to complete over 300 passes in a season. He did that last Sunday when he hit on 30 of 56 for 289 yards and 4 touchdowns, and leading Minnesota to a come-from-behind 28-27 victory over Philadelphia. Tarkenton shattered Sonny Jurgensen's previous record of 288 completions set in 1967, and with 500 attempts, he's close to eclipsing Sonny's mark of 508 attempts, also in 1967, and in fact, Tarkenton did break that record in a losing effort on Saturday against the Detroit Lions. The accomplishments were gained in the 14-game period, which has been the length of the regular season.
Eagles have the ball at their own 48-yard line, and they trail by just 7 now. And they're a little fired up. Got it Stokes, Carmichael, and Charles Smith, both wide left. Jaworski with one setback has Montgomery on the wing. The handoff goes to Hogan, comes right, and is knocked down at the 49 and gained 1. Had a wing formation that time with Wilbert Montgomery lined up to the right side, and Hogan the only setback. Ed Jones and Bob Brunig made the tackle. They may officially give him 2. They do not. He's only 1. Well, we got our microphone problems fixed, and I got the headset with the cold earphones back. 32 degrees here in Philadelphia.
Harvey Martin got kicked in the groin is what happened, and he's recovering.
Glad you put it that way. You scared me. And second down at 9. 13:27 before halftime. Carmichael wide right and Smith wide left. Jaworski will throw. Drops straight back. A 4-man rush. Pressure is on. And Randy White wraps him up back at the 40-yard line. An ankle tackle. The second sack for Randy White. The Cowboys all-pro defensive tackle.
And what a play that was by the Manster, because he flew by Lucan, who really kind of maintained his position, and Randy just finally edged Lucan aside, reached in, and made the ankle tackle, as Vern said. As I recall, Randy made one all-pro team last year. He made Pro Football Weekly's all-pro team and a lot of all-conference teams. But I just bet you right now Randy White is a unanimous or consensus or whatever you want to say all-pro.
I don't see how they can avoid it. Especially with the injuries that Harvey Martin has had and the kind of off-season that Harvey's had. It's third down at 18. 14-7 ball game. Jaworski with 3 wide receivers once again. He'll throw. Back to pass. No blitz. The rush is on. They flip the screen out to Montgomery at the 40. 45 and knocked down. It'll be 4th down at 12. Charlie Waters threading through the blockers to make the tackle. Nice play by the all-pro strong safety.
Yes, and I believe he is once again as well, although he'll get a run for his money from Ken Houston in the voting. But Charlie made a great play because he had a blocker waiting for him and just slipped the block and was waiting there for Hogan.
Mike Michelle is on to punt. He is at the 30. Butch Johnson back to receive it at the 18 of the Cowboys. Return is on all the way. Nice kick by Michelle. Now Johnson on the run, has it, fumbles the ball, and picked up by Dennis Sherman of the Cowboys. Dangerous play by Butch Johnson. A lapse in judgment, I would think. He was down low around the knees. I did not say a serious error in judgment. It was simply a lapse.
Just a lapse.
There's a timeout on the field with our score. The Cowboys 14 and Philadelphia 7. Dallas Cowboy football continues after this word.
The Minnesota Vikings have established the National Football League mark with 4 players having 50 or more pass receptions in the same season. Running back Ricky Young has a club record 78 for 638 yards, followed by wide receiver Amon Rashad, 58 for 625 yards, running back Chuck Foreman, 55 for 350 yards, and wide receiver Sammy White, 50 receptions for 680 yards. 7 teams have had 3 players catch 50 or more passes. Dallas's 10-year veteran quarterback Roger Staubach broke club records during his team's 17-10 victory over New England last week. Staubach hit on 15 of 27 for 243 yards and 2 touchdowns to bring the season totals to 218 completions and 394 attempts. That's 3,000 yards. All of those are new marks. Staubach now owns all the Dallas passing records except Don Meredith's mark of 24 touchdown passes in 1966. Roger has 23.
Scored on won 2 out of 5 possessions, but they have not put together a long drive yet today. If you joined us late, they had to go 5 yards for the first touchdown following a fumble recovery, and 15 for the second following a pass interception by Benny Barnes. They have the ball right now. First down 10 at their own 28 following the fumble recovery by Dennis Thurman. I formation, Tony Hill left side and Drew Pearson to the right. Now a shift in the backfield, now a shift back into the I. Roger Staubach, long count by the Cowboy quarterback. Has it, play action, back to throw. Looks deep, wants a bunch, he's in trouble, rolls out of the tackle. Now fires it short, caught by Drew Pearson at the 35. Drew comes left to double team and down. He picks up about 6 yards. LeMaster made the tackle. And Bill Berkey, who always seems to be around the ball, is right there also. And he and Drew get up and exchange words.
I don't know how Staubach stayed away from that rush. I thought he was sacked for sure. We ought to point out, by the way, that there are a couple of pro Cowboy signs on the other side of the field from where we are. There's one that celebrates Harvey Martin, and the other one says 82, Steele, you're the one.
I'll be darned. You know what's not here today?
Touchdown day.
Yeah, for Doug Dennison. It's always been here. Double wing set for the Cowboys. Preston Pearson is in the ball game. Pitches out to Laidlaw. They're coming left. Nice block from Scott, but Laidlaw is only able to get up near the 37. It'll be third down at about 1 or 2. We'll see where they spot it. A lot of defensive traffic over there in the form of Herman Edwards.
Well, Herbie did such a good job of coming out and standing Herman Edwards on his head that what he got was Edwards literally on his head with his feet right in Laidlaw's face. And I think that slowed Scott down.
It'll be third down and 1 with 10:54 to go in the first half. Jackie Smith comes in as an extra tight end, and Andy Frederick comes in to replace Rayfield Wright. So Rayfield hurries off, and he will have to hurry. Now he's on the sideline. Motion from Drew Pearson. Here's a pitch out left side for Laidlaw. Scott has the first down up across the 40-yard line before he is forced back. He is right at the 40. Looks like some confusion on that play, but they got the first down 10. Scott Laidlaw had some comments to make about the play of these agile Philadelphia linebackers.
It's hard to pick out one guy on the team because they're all doing so well. They're all working so hard. You see one guy making good, and you see another guy making good. They always play us stuff in Philadelphia, and especially now with a chance to get in the playoffs, it's going to be a rough game.
And it has been thus far, despite the early Cowboy lead, 14-7, Dallas on top. And Mr. Doug Todd, the astute public relations director of the Cowboys, has made an appearance in the booth. Hey, he's early today. High formation, first down 10. Handoff Dorsett, caught and dropped after a gain of 2. Randy Logan. And I can tell you that Doug Todd is adorned underneath the outstanding-looking three-piece coat and tie and vest with the Jackie Smith Dallas Cowboy t-shirt. That has become the new Lucky Charm.
Replacing the brown ultra suede Western style hat.
Yes.
Which wouldn't have gone with the gray suit anyway.
In the meantime, the Swede is adorned with the red long john.
Yes. Aren't there stories to tell about that?
Probably, and it'll be brief. Second down and 8. Second down 8 at the 42. Staubach has him at the line. Play action. Back to throw. Under pressure. Goes left side for Dupree. It's caught. And Billy Joe is out of bounds for the first down at the Philadelphia 42-yard line. Dupree with the catch. And Billy Joe had some comments to make about Randy Logan, the strong safety who is covering him today.
He forces a lot and almost is fourth or fifth linebacker in there. And if we can get outside and contain Randy on the end run and keep his forces down, then I think we'll be okay.
Dupree caught that pass, his first of the day. It's first down 10, Dallas at the 42. They break the huddle and come to the line. Pat Donovan left side. Herbie Scott left guard. John Fitzgerald over the ball. Tom Rafferty, Rayfield Wright, and Billy Joe Dupree. I formation, Dorsett the deep back at the Philadelphia 42. First down 10. Handoff, Dorsett goes right, wrapped up, knocked down, no gain. May have lost the yard. Bill Berkey got him. Tell you what, folks, you got to anticipate cold weather when you come to Philadelphia, so I did. I brought the Long Johns, but I couldn't find them this morning. Finally did, so I didn't put them on in the hotel. And was trying to sneak into the locker room before the game and find an equipment room where nobody would be so I could put my Johns on and come on up here. And I was half dressed with the Long Johns that have Jazz Dip written in a conspicuous place when Russ Struckle, the Cowboy photographer, caught me.
Hopefully we'll see that in the week.
Well, he swears it will happen unless I pay him off. I don't know how much he's going to demand. Here's Dorsett going right, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 40, gain 2. It'll be third down for the Cowboys, third down and 8. That was awful when he walked in there, and
lonely feeling that must have been.
Yes, it is. I mean, there's just not much you can do. It's third down and 8 for the Cowboys.
Berkey again made the tackle, and when you're talking about all pros, week in and week out, you just don't see many middle linebackers any better than Bill Berkey. And for his sake, you kind of hope that someday soon the Eagles get in the playoffs, because the guy deserves it.
I kind of hope they do, just because they're Philadelphia, and I think they got a good organization. I'm pulling for them. Not today, but I think they're a good ball club.
I do too.
Third down, 8 from the shotgun for the Cowboys. At the 40. The blitz is on. Rogers back. Has a lot of time, but can't find anybody open. And he is caught and dropped all the way back to the Cowboy 48. Good downfield coverage. He may have been looking initially at Billy Joe Dupree. And Billy Joe and Randy Logan were side by side at the goal line. So it'll be fourth down, and Randy White will have to punt. Starbuck's back for the first time.
Dennis Harrison, one of two rookies they have on defense, hung in there and made the sack. And, boy, they had to be well covered because Roger had all kinds of time. So now, Danny White will punt it away. Is that John Shara down there at the 10?
Is indeed. Waiting for it at the Philadelphia 10-yard line. 14-7 game. Cowboys scored early in the first 5 minutes. Here's the snap back to White. Danny goes to the right side, tries to keep it away from Shara. It does. It bounces at the 5, goes toward the end zone and lifts in. Just about came to a rest at the 2. But Benny Barnes couldn't get down there quickly enough.
And he couldn't because of a great block by Bobby Howard, who knocked Benny off his feet. Otherwise, Barnes would have been able to kill it inside the 5.
There is the timeout on the field with our score. Dallas 14 at Philadelphia 7. Dallas Cowboy football continues after this word.
On the scoreboard now in the National Football League, first period scores. The Giants 10, St. Louis nothing, Atlanta 7, Washington nothing. And updating on some of those scores, at Cleveland, a 45-yard field goal by Leahy to give Cleveland a 14-3 lead over the Jets. And then Cockcroft hit a field goal from 21 yards out to make it 17-3 Cleveland. That's in the second period at Cleveland. Hooks on a 29-yard run for Buffalo, and the Bills are leading the Patriots 7-0 in the second quarter. At New York, the Giants leading St. Louis, as we mentioned, 10-0 at the end of the first period. And at Cleveland again, a 21-yard pass from Sipe to Pruitt, and that was the score a little bit earlier to give Cleveland a 14-0 lead over the Jets. However, that score now is 17-3 in favor of Cleveland over the New York Jets. Okay, let's get back to the action now at Veterans Stadium.
6:57 to go first half. Philadelphia has the ball at its own 20-yard line. Jaworski has them huddled back to the 10. They break, and here they come. 32 degrees in Philadelphia on the 10th day of December. Cowboys have this one plus a trip to New York next week, and Cleveland leading the Jets 17-3 in the second quarter. First down 10, and Jaworski has his backs in the eye with 3 wide receivers again in the ballgame. They have gone with this formation almost extensively here in the first half. Jaworski hands it off to Wilbert Montgomery. He's up to the 26-yard line, picked up a quick 6. Ed Jones made the tackle. It'll be second down and 4. Cowboy touchdown, 1 yard by Scott Laidlaw, following a fumble recovery and return by Cliff Harris to the 5. And a 15-yard pass from Dorsett, Starbuck to Dorsett, following a pass interception by Benny Barnes. And that happened early in the game, and the Cowboy offense has not put a sustained drive together since then. It's second down and 4. Second down 3. They gave him 7 on the last play. I formation in the backfield. Carmichael wide right. The other 2 wide receivers wide to left. Payne the outside man. Jaworski hands it off to Montgomery. He comes right, has a first down at the 30, and leads up to the 34-yard line. Nice run by the former Abilene Christian University running back.
Barnes and Cole bumped into each other at the 30 trying to make the tackle, and that let Montgomery slide forward another 4 yards.
Larry Bethea is still in there for Harvey Martin at the right defensive end spot. Harvey injured in the first quarter. 14-7 score with 5:48 to go first half. Ball at the 34-yard line. Here come the Eagles. Carmichael goes left, and Ken Payne and Charles Smith come wide right. A lot of folks wearing gloves today on a very cold day. Jaworski with his backs in the eye. Montgomery the deep back. The handoff goes to Montgomery at left guard. He is double teamed and down low by D.D. Lewis. And up high by Bob Bruning, and he picked up a tough 2 yards.
Boy, a great play by Dede, who exploded past Hogan, who tried to block him, and really popped him a good one ankle high.
It'll be second down at 7, a gain of 3, 5:09 to go first half. 14-7 Dallas. Sellout crowd again here in Philadelphia. They sell out regardless of how the team is doing.
Which is why I think this is a good sports town in spite of the fact they boo everybody.
Yeah, that's right. You get a little irritated with them, but they're great. They're really loyal fans. It's second down 7. 4:51 to go first half. D.D. Lewis comes up to threaten the blitz. Jaworski is back to pass. It is no blitz. He flips it out to Montgomery at the 40. A fumble, and the Cowboys. Cliff Harris dives for the ball and may have it. It is recovered by the Cowboys at the 40-yard line. Harris with his second fumble recovery of the day.
Well, we don't have a Magnavox monitor. I'm not sure that Cliff, did he finally hire? He was the first guy to the ball, then it looked like it scooted away from him, and Ed Jones and Charlie Waters came over, but I guess, without any question, Cliff Harris is active and ready to play this afternoon, and what a break for the Cowboys, who needed, number one, to give the defense a little rest. Number two, they put the offense in shape in good field position, 40 yards away, thanks to another fumble recovery by Crash Harris.
Cowboys are +3 on turnovers today, and they are at the line of scrimmage. Dorsett and Laidlaw shifting in the backfield. Blitz look now for the Philadelphia defense. Motion from Drew Pearson. Play action. Roger reads the blitz, goes back. He's being chased, fires it out short and incomplete, intended for Laidlaw. And Berge knocks Laidlaw out of bounds. And Henderson goes over there to jaw with Berge. Boy, there's a conversation where nobody's going to stop talking. Let's pause 15 seconds for station identification. This is the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
Is 6 out of 9 for 55 yards now, and he's got a second down and 10 at the 40. 3-4 defense, blitz again. Staubach on the delay play to Laidlaw, nothing doing. Wrapped up after a gain of 1 by Frank Lemaster. Tells you this Philadelphia defense has really gotten tough after the Cowboys took that early 14-0 lead.
Well, again, that's the kind of thing that was happening to Dallas earlier in the season, but the Eagles' defense was put in the position of trying to stop 2 drives for a total of 20 yards. And that's a near impossible task.
Third down, and excuse me, Brad.
Well, I was going to say, they were really stiffened here. They have given the Cowboys a thing in 2 downs.
Third and 9, the shotgun formations again. The Cowboys at the 39-yard line of Philadelphia. Roger Staubach is 5 yards back. A 3-man rush now for the Eagles. A delayed blitz on the right side. Staubach fires in the left for Drew Pearson, incomplete. It'll be fourth down. Nice defensive play by Herman Edwards, who got in front of the pass and may have deflected it.
Certainly interfered with Drew's vision and did a very good job of defending the thing. Absolutely. Now, the question is whether this is in Septien's range, but apparently not, because Danny White is going to come in and punt it.
No, it would be a 55-yard field goal for Raphael. So Danny White will punt on fourth down and try and put this thing out of bounds inside the 20 somewhere. Well, the Eagle defense holds following the turnover at the 40. The Cowboys picked up 1 yard on 3 plays. Shara waits for it at the 10. White has both of his hands inside his jersey to keep warm. Here's a snap back to Danny. He punches it toward the left side. Looks like a good kick. Bounces at the 10 and gets a Philadelphia roll into the end zone. Will come out to the 20. Henderson was down there but couldn't put the stopper on the ball.
Well, Thomas got a real good release and then tripped over his own feet with absolutely nobody near him because he might have been able to down the ball. And Dennis Thurman is down there saying, what happened? And Thomas is saying, oh, my goodness, I didn't know where I was.
Well, there's an argument of some sort that he may have touched the ball, but in any case, it went into the end zone. And the Eagles get it back at the 20-yard line. Danny White was a little upset. I look back at Danny, and he was not happy at all about the lack of effort down there. There's a timeout on the field with our score, 14-7 Dallas. Dallas Cowboy football continues in a moment.
At Cleveland, a 12-yard pass from Robinson to Harper, and the Cleveland lead over the Jets now 17-10. At New England, a 4-yard run by Cunningham. Buffalo and New England are now tied at 7-7 in the second quarter. Washington and Atlanta tied 7-7 in the second quarter. A 1-yard run by Riggins for the Redskins. And that's a look at the scoreboard at the moment. Later on the schedule in the National Football League, Kansas City is at Denver, Oakland is at Miami, Tampa Bay at San Francisco, Seattle at San Diego, and Houston at New Orleans. just getting underway. Green Bay at Chicago, a big game for the Packers, who have a chance to move into undisputed first place in the NFC Central Division following Minnesota's 45-14 loss on Saturday to Detroit. Minnesota now 8 wins, 6 losses, and a tie. Green Bay 8 wins, 5 losses, and 1 tie.
Philadelphia back first down 10 at the 20-yard line. Carmichael goes left side. Only 2 wide receivers this time. Richard Osborne is into the tight end. Charles Smith is wide right. First and 10 at the 20. Smith goes in motion to create the flip to the left side. Jaworski has it and hands it off to Mike Hogan at left guard. He's out to the 24-yard line. 3:22 to go in the first half. Well, the Cowboy offense certainly is sputtering now because twice they have been inside the 40-yard line and have been unable to get anything on the board. And they are holding on to a 7-point lead. Only one long drive by the Eagles so far, but
the Eagles defense, and especially the secondary, though, has done a great job because that last series they shut Roger down on the shotgun. He had no one to throw to, and they covered Drew well on third down.
Second down 6 at the 24. Carmichael wide left. Charles Smith wide right. Hogan directly behind Ron Jaworski, maybe changing at the line. Here's a handoff to Hogan, and he is cut down at the 27-yard line by Charlie Waters. It'll be third down and 3.
Charlie's playing well.
Yes, he is. One more play before the 2-minute warning. 2:30 to go in the half. And the Eagles are back in the huddle at the 20. Third down and 3. Jaworski is 4 out of 6 for 59. Cowboys do not have the prevent defense in because of the short yardage situation. And the Eagles are back at the line of scrimmage with a wing to the right side. That's where Mike Hogan is, and Montgomery is the only setback. Jaworski under Guy Morris will throw. Rolls out to his right. Morris is there. Here comes Larry Cole. Cole misses him, and Jaworski fires it up, and it is... He may have been out of bounds when he threw the ball. That is the call back at the 25-yard line. The pass was complete, but Jaworski was being chased by Larry Cole and was out of bounds.
I think the receiver dropped it, though, after he caught it.
Okay. I didn't even see that. Anyway, it wouldn't have mattered. No. Cowboys will get it back with 2:02 to go in the first half of play. Michelle is back at the 10, and Butch Johnson waits for it at the Cowboys' 45-yard line. See if the rush might be on. They're coming. Here comes the rush, but Michelle gets it away, and it's a super kick. Butch Johnson, fair catch, and calls for it at the 32-yard line of the Cowboys. So Dallas will get it back with 1:53 to go in the first half. There's a timeout on the field, a momentary break in the action. So let's pause for this. You're listening to Dallas Cowboy football.
Temple has defeated Boston College 28-24 in a college football game in Tokyo. Brian Brumell scored 2 touchdowns for Temple in short runs, but the significance there, a sellout of 55,000 to see that game in Tokyo. We understand that a couple of other college football teams are planning to do the same thing next year.
Great kick by Mike Michelle under pressure, and the Cowboys, who were hopeful of good field position, did not get it. They've got the ball at the 33. That's where it's been spotted. 67 yards away with 1:53 to go in the first half of play, and a 14-7 game. No scoring here in the second quarter.
It's a game that's really unfolded much differently than it looked as though it might early on when the Cowboys got the first Cliff Harris fumble recovery and a Benny Barnes interception, cashed them both in, 14-0. It looked like it's going to be a romp. And then the Eagles have really stiffened since then. Their defense especially has looked just marvelous. Of course, so has the Dallas defense.
That Philadelphia defense, Carl Hairston, Charlie Johnson, and Dennis Harrison up front. The linebackers, Drew Mahalik, Frank Lemaster, Bill Berkey, and Reggie Wilkes. The cornerbacks, Bobby Howard and Herman Edwards. And the safeties, Randy Logan and John Sanders.
I think they've improved it since they got Bobby Howard to... He was a free agent Patriots had gotten to put him on the left corner in place of Johnny Outlaw.
Preston Pearson and Tony Dorsett are the setbacks. They are split now and a wing to the right side. Here's Staubach dropping back to throw. Fires it out for Dorsett. One-on-one. Comes left. Knocked down up to 33. Didn't gain a thing on that play. And does not get out of bounds as Drew Mahalik makes the tackle. Cowboys will probably go without a huddle. They will. 1:36 to go in the first half. Dallas has its timeouts remaining. And they do not go from the shotgun. There was a loss of a yard in the last play. It's second down 11. Staubach under John Fitzgerald has it and drops back. Looks left. Now rolls out to his right. Chasing away from the run. Pumps once. He'll run it. Up to the 35 and tries to get out of bounds and does not at the 38-yard line. Tell you the Eagles are doing a sensational job defensively now.
They had Drew out on the right side that time, and Bobby Howard cut him off short, and instead of trying to peel off and go deep, Drew had to come up because of the good positioning of Howard. He had to come into the play, and in the short zone, there wasn't any room to throw, which is why Staubach looked that way and faked and pumped and kept it and ran.
And instead of using a timeout, the Cowboys go to a huddle, so now we're down to 45 seconds. It's third down and 5, and Dallas will go for the shotgun. Ball at the 38-yard line. 40 seconds remaining. Staubach has the snap. Four-man rush. Screen pass to Preston Pearson. Goes to his right. Now comes left. Weaving and is near the first down with 30 seconds to go. The tackle made by Berkey. And over on the sideline, they're hollering, "Hey, guys, call a timeout." And finally they do. Ernie Stotner was doing handsprings on the sideline. But they run off another 6 seconds. They've got the first down and a timeout. And the timeout has been called with 25 seconds to go. So not very good conservation of time on this current Cowboy drive.
Yeah, it really kind of looked like they weren't sure exactly what tack they were going to take, whether they wanted to run the clock down or whether they wanted to try to use it.
14-7 ball game. First down and 10 at the 44.
The president and general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, Texas E. Schramm, will be our guest at halftime. And we'll discuss such things as where playoff tickets might be available at when, presuming, as Mr. Sherrod calls them in one of the Dallas Gazettes, presuming your heroes are victorious this afternoon, or should Green Bay lose to Chicago. But don't get me started on that combination of possibilities. Matter of fact,
did you happen to see the Wire story?
Oh, I did a thing on the air. I read it, and Gary Brandt and Blaine Lee back at our flagship station did a great thing, little music thing, and I read that whole deal. It took about 3.5 minutes, and at the end I said, if you don't understand it, don't feel bad because we punched up the theme music from It's a Mad, Mad World. But Ermal Allen did a thing that I think I've got here. I'm going to read it when we get time, maybe second half.
First down and 10, Cowboys back at the line of scrimmage from the shotgun with 25 seconds to go. They have the ball at their own 44-yard line. Roger 5 yards back, has the snap. Here comes the blitz. He's up in the pocket, in trouble, fumbles the ball. There's a scramble for it. It's picked up by Dorsett in the air, and Tony comes left. He's to the 40, the 45, and out of bounds to the 47-yard line. And John Shara has to hurdle the bench as he chases him. Dorsett is a yard short of the first down with 12 seconds to go. The ball popped out of Staubach's hand, and Dorsett caught it in the air and came left and picked up 9 yards.
Don't suppose y'all would buy it if we told you they've been working on that play all week, would you?
Put that one in the playbook and run it again. Alert play by Tony Dorsett. And the Cowboys have the ball now at the 47-yard line with a second down and 1.
Well, the Eagles secondary has done as good a job as anybody has against the Cowboys in 2 months.
That's right.
Because Rodgers got nowhere to go with it.
He's still throwing the ball fairly well. Gene Shaw is leaning to his left, and we can tell you that Rodgers 8 out of 12 for 60 yards. 12 seconds to go in the half. Shotgun formation. Blitz is on again. Staubach drops the snap, goes back, now rolls right. He's in trouble, pulls back to his left, looks over for Tony Hill. He's got it at the 47-yard line. He goes to the middle of the field, killing clock, the time of the clock, and it's all over. Now there's a flag down. The pass is complete for lost yardage. Looks like third grade recess out there. There is a flag down. If it is a defensive penalty, we'll have one more play. If it's an offensive penalty, which apparently it is, flipping against the Cowboys, it's declined, and that's the end of the half. It's halftime with our score. The Dallas Cowboys 14 and the Philadelphia Eagles 7. Dallas Cowboys football continues after this word.
On On the scoreboard at Atlanta, a 21-yard field goal by Mosley, and Washington leading Atlanta 10-7 in the second quarter. Halftime score, the New York Giants 10, the St. Louis Cardinals nothing. So the scoring in this ball game, a 1-yard run by Laidlaw to give Dallas a 7-0 lead in the first quarter. Then Staubach hit Dorsett on a 15-yard touchdown pass to make it 14-0 Dallas. And then Hogan scored from a yard out for Philadelphia. And that's how we stand at the end of the first half. The Dallas Cowboys 14, the Philadelphia Eagles 7. On Saturday, 2 games played in the National Football League. The Pittsburgh Steelers rolling over the Baltimore Colts by the score of 35-13. And the Detroit Lions surprising the Minnesota Vikings 45-14. So those 2 games played on Saturday. And that loss by Minnesota putting a crippling blow maybe into the playoff hopes for the Vikings, because Green Bay, which is in action right now at Chicago, Green Bay now leading Minnesota by half a game in that Central Division. Minnesota, after that loss, 8 wins, 6 losses, and a tie. Green Bay, 8 wins, 5 losses, and 1 tie, with a chance to move up on the Minnesota Vikings. Okay, let's get back to Philadelphia.
Halftime at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. Brad Sham back with you now. 14-7 Cowboy lead over the Eagles, and we're delighted to have as our guest at halftime today the president and general manager of the Cowboys, Tex Schramm, who is also the chairman of the Rules Committee. We were just discussing interpretation, perhaps, of the punt down there a little earlier. It looked like Thomas Henderson was trying to run under the ball, and the question that we had up here, Tex, was whether a contained player, release player on the punting team can catch the ball in the air before a player on the receiving team touches it.
He can catch the ball in the air if the other team, if the receiver that is supposed to catch the punt, if he is clearly not making an attempt to catch it. If the receiver were attempting to make the catch or were in that area, then the official would rule that you're interfering with his right to catch the ball. But if he is making no attempt, then yes, you can catch it in the air.
I promised Mr. Todd, the chief of your public relations department, that the first thing, or one of the first things we get you to talk about, seriously, there are a lot of people back home who are listening who want to know about playoff tickets, and I know that, and the outcome of this game, depending on that, why don't you give them a little bit of information on that?
Well, if we win this game today, then that assures that the first game of the playoffs on either December the 30th or 31st will be played in Texas Stadium. So that if we win, tickets will go on sale immediately following the game at Moody Coliseum on the SMU campus, and the sale will continue there until 7 o'clock tonight. Now, should things not go well in the second half, and should we lose the football game, the same thing could still happen if Chicago defeats Green Bay in a game this afternoon. In either of those cases, we would clinch the home side advantage in the first playoff game, and tickets would go on sale at Moody Coliseum immediately after that decision was made.
Again, checking the scoreboard in the National Football League. Buffalo and New England, no score at the end of the first period. The Cleveland leading the New York Jets 17-10. That's in the second quarter. The Giants leading St. Louis at the half 10-0. Washington is leading Atlanta by the score of 10-7, and that game is in the second quarter. Green Bay is at Chicago. A very important game being played at Chicago. We'll keep you up to date on that game as we get the scores in. Later, Houston at New Orleans. Kansas City is at Denver. Oakland is at Miami. Tampa Bay at San Francisco. Seattle is at San Diego. On Monday night, Cincinnati is playing at Los Angeles. It's halftime at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia with a score, Dallas 14, Philadelphia 7.
At the 37, prevent defense comes in now. Randy Hughes and Mike Hickman come in, and Bob Brunig and Dede Lewis go out. The front four for the Cowboys: Ed Jones, Larry Cole, Randy White, and Harvey Martin. It's 2nd and 10. Osborne splits way off to the left. Carmichael and Charles Smith are split wide to the right side. Cowboys may be blitzing on second down. They are not. 4-man rush. Jaworski back. Has time down under pressure. Rolls out to his right. Pulls up at the 30. Lets it fly. Bounces once. Incomplete at the 45. Intended for Mike Hogan, the running back. And Cliff Harris had come up from the free safety spot and was putting pressure on Jaworski. By the time time he finally delivered the ball. It'll be third down and 10. Cliff had some comments on Ron Jaworski, the Philadelphia quarterback.
Ron has really improved in the last 2 years. I didn't really think that he was he seemed to have more poise, and he's got an extremely accurate arm. We're going to try to pressure him a lot if we can.
And that time Cliff Harris was putting the pressure on. It is now third down and 10 at the 37. 14-7 game, 13-14 to go, third quarter. Two wide receivers wide right. Ken Payne is wide to left. No tight end in the ball game. Jaworski back to throw. Four-man rush for the Cowboys. They're going deep into double coverage. Way downfield, incomplete. At the 20-yard line of the Cowboys. It was intended for Ken Payne, and Aaron Kyle was stride for stride, but the crowd feels as if interference might have been called, but it was not. And that'll bring up fourth down for Philadelphia. Good coverage by Kyle, and Randy Hughes was going deep to help on the double zone. So Mike Michel is on the front, and Butch Johnson waits for it back at the Cowboys' 27-yard line as Dallas has held, and the Eagles are in a punting situation. Here comes the snap back, and Michel has time and kicks it, hangs it high, but fairly short. Johnson waits and grabs it at the 28. Goes to his right, in trouble, and out of bounds all the way back to the 20. That's negative yardage on the return. He lost about 8 yards on the return. So the Cowboys will get it for the first time in this half. 80 yards away, there's a timeout on the field with our score. The Cowboys 14, Philadelphia 7. Dallas Cowboy football continues after this word.
The National Football League decided in 1961 that a season is a season when it comes to recognizing annual individual, team, or league records. It does not matter if the season includes 10 games, as in the 1940s, or the 16 games of 1978. So this year, the National Football League expanded to 16 games from 14, which had been played since 1961. So there are a number of milestones which have been reached at the 14-game juncture this season. Kansas City coach Marv Levy installed the run-oriented wing T offense in his first season, and the Chiefs have set a team record for the most rushing yards in the season, 2,634, and that broke the old mark of 2,407 yards set by the then Dallas Texans in 1962. Kansas City is also the first National Football League team to have 5 different players with at least 100 or more rushing yards per game in the same season. Tony Reed twice, Arnold Margotto, Mark Bailey, Ted McKnight, and MacArthur Lane.
Back to play. Cowboys have the ball for the first time in the second half, and they get it with 12:54 remaining third quarter. Hanging on to a 14-7 lead. And they have had the opportunities with 3 turnovers. They converted 2 of the 3 for scores. Drew Pearson comes wide left. Tony Hill wide right. Dorsett and Laidlaw behind Roger Staubach. And a 3-4 Philadelphia defense. The handoff goes to Dorsett to the right side, being chased by Frank LeMaster and cut down for a loss back to the 18. Frank LeMaster, the 5-year pro out of Kentucky. Good recognition on that play.
Those guys play the run so well. We told you earlier in the game the Eagles are the 3rd best team defensing the run in the NFC, only behind Dallas and Los Angeles. And they just play it extremely well. They're going to take a defensive lineman out now and bring another one in. Make a substitution of Clark for Charlie Johnson.
That's Ken Clark, the rookie from Syracuse, who's in the nose guard. Dorsett, 11 carries for 27 yards. Wide split in the backfield. Staubach may be throwing on second down and 12. Roger has it, 2 steps back, fires in the right flat. It is caught and is out of bounds and is caught by Tony Hill up at the 24-yard line. It'll be third down. It's still in need of about 8. 14-7 game. This one important for the Cowboys only in the sense of assuring a home field spot. They already have the division wrapped up. But also, I think, significant in terms of momentum going into the playoffs.
Absolutely.
As Larry Cole said on the pregame show, whenever they have lost the last couple of games, or one of the last 2, they've not necessarily played well in the playoffs. It's third down and 8. And here come the Cowboys, and the Philadelphia crowd is around. Shotgun formation. Tony Hill comes left. The other wide receivers are wide to the right side. Roger is 5 yards back. Free now the blitz. Here comes LeMaster. Staubach has time. Wants it all. Going deep for Tony Hill. Into triple coverage. He's down there, and the pass is caught at the Philadelphia 23-yard line. An amazing catch by Tony Hill into triple coverage. And the Cowboys have a first down then at the Eagles 24.
I still don't know how he caught that.
I don't either.
He had Herman Edwards all over him, plus help from the free safety, plus help from Bobby Howard, who came over to double from the other corner. What a remarkable catch by Hill, and quite a fine throw by Staubach as well, who is the only offensive player, by the way, not wearing a sweatshirt out there today. He's got his bare arms exposed.
He's the one guy I did not want to see me putting my long johns on in the locker room, because I know he'd snarl at me. First down 10. Jackie Smith is in, double tight end set for the Cowboys. At the 23, the handoff to Dorsett. He comes left, has a block to the 20, the 15, the 10. He'll score. He strolls in, standing up, and the Cowboys are on the boards again.
They ran the little counter play with the initial look to the right side, and then the counter play coming around to the left. The blocking was there, and it was great. And Dorsett high stepped through the hole, set up by that long bomb from Staubach to Hill, and Dorsett with crisp blocking out in front of him gets his second touchdown of the day, saying to the Eagles, you didn't see me in Dallas, but you're going to see me this afternoon. There's a big score toward that momentum we talked about earlier.
Raphael Septien will try and make it 21-7 with 11:03 to go, third quarter. Here's the kick, and he got it. There's a timeout on the field with our score now. Dallas 21, Philadelphia 7. Dallas Cowboy football continues in a moment.
Houston's Earl Campbell, the AFC's #1 rusher with 1,306 yards on 263 carries, already has set several club and league records. His rushing total eclipses the former NFL mark for the most rushing yards by a rookie, set by San Diego's Don Woods. He had 1,162 yards in 1974. Campbell also erased Hoyle Granger's club record of 1,194 yards in 1967, as well as Charlie Toller's mark of 244 rushing attempts in 1962. And with Campbell paving the way, the Oilers have set team records with 2,234 rushing yards and first downs rushing. The previous best was 121 in 1975. Miami's Delvin Williams has rushed for 1,250 yards on 265 carries, and that yardage is more than Larry Zonka's old club mark of 1,117 in 1972, and the 265 attempts also breaks another club record.
The Cowboys on back-to-back plays go 54 yards and 24 yards, and they're on the board early in the third quarter, 21-7. Dorsett scores standing up from 24 yards out. And that's Tony's sixth touchdown rushing this year. He's well under his mark of last year. Here's Septien to kick. Campfield and Jamona are deep. No, Wilbur Montgomery's back there now. The kick is taken on one hop by Montgomery at the 1. Back to the 10, comes right to the 15, the 20. 25 goes left, met up high, and knocked down at the 29-yard line.
What a great hit was just delivered against Aaron Kyle by, I think it was either Bruce Hunter or Lois Blackwell. Just a crusher. Kyle's teammate just flattened him.
They'll talk about that on the plane coming home. It's first down 10 at the 29. Cowboys back in front by 14. A marvelous catch by Tony Hill and a scamper by Tony Dorsett. The ball officially will be marked at the 30-yard line. Jaworski has Carmichael in a wing to the right side, and Charles Smith is lined up split wide left. High formation behind Jaworski. He may throw on first down. He does not. Pitch out to Montgomery. Comes right and breaks the tackle. Is up near the 34-yard line. He was caught by Brunig and Waters at the 31, and Charlie's still down on his knees, shaking his head in exasperation. The tackle finally made by Harvey Martin.
Well, Charlie almost stopped him with his back, reaching around behind him.
Cowboys lost here on that Monday night game, but they have controlled the Eagles, and yet they have always had trouble here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and in days when the Eagles didn't have nearly as good a team as they have now. Is that wind kicking up into the booth?
Oh, this is warm compared to Jackson. Well, this is very warm. This is lovely weather. Why are you bundling up? It's second down and 6. High formation. Jaworski hands it off to Montgomery on the deep play. He's into the secondary and on the run. He's to the 50-yard line and down. First down 10, Philadelphia. D.D. Lewis may have saved about a 70-yard scamper. Quick opener on the left side with blocks over there from Tom Lucan, Guy Morris, and Stan Walters. And a bundle. Well, Montgomery has passed his total from the last time the two teams met. He's now got 65 yards on 11 carries.
He needed 131 in the last two games coming in here to have the best season an Eagle rusher's ever had.
Got a little over half of it right now. First down 10 at the 50. Eagles not going to roll over, I'll promise you that. Two wide receivers wide left. Carmichael Carmichael and Charles Smith. Jaworski hands it off to Montgomery. Randy White buries him. Absolutely buried him. Oh, gee.
Randy White is the kind of a guy who he's so good that normally we see guys like this once or twice a year, like we see Berkey a couple of times a year, and you say, gee whiz, that guy is really awesome. And normally when you see a player all the time, you're not that much impressed with him. It has nothing to do with his ability. You just get used to seeing it. But Randy White's so good, every week you wind up saying, oh, my goodness, he's unbelievable.
That's right. Second down and 9. They did gain one in the last play. Carmichael and Charles Smith are wide right. Jaworski will throw. Here comes the stunt by the Cowboys. The pass to Montgomery, a fumble. The Cowboys are back, and it's an incomplete pass now. Montgomery was nailed by Charlie Waters. Oh, my goodness. Well, if you're going to talk about a great tackle by Randy White, there's a Hegman. Hegman got it. I saw Waters there, and it was Hegman instead.
Charlie was trailing the play, but Hegman delivered what a shot that jarred it loose. And, of course, it was the Manster who was nosing around the ball, getting ready to pick it up and just gobble it down like another almond cookie.
It'll be third down and 9 at the 49 of the Cowboys. 8:37 to go, third quarter. Vern Lundquist and Brad Sham. Glad you all could join us today. Around the world on the American Forces Network. 3 wide receivers in on third down. Blitz look for the Cowboys. Randy Hughes may be coming. Jaworski may be changing. Here comes the blitz. Jaworski's back. He fumbles the ball, and the Cowboys have recovered at the 41-yard line. That will go as a sack in the fourth turnover of the day, and the Cowboys get it. Mike Hegman again.
Hegman and Hughes were both coming on almost a max blitz. Not quite everybody in the world was coming. I think Ernie Stautner was still on the bench. But Hegman and Hughes were both blitzing, and Hegman was the guy who hit him and caused the fumble.
There's a timeout on the field with our score. Dallas 21. The Eagles 7. Dallas Cowboy football continues after this word.
Minnesota's 41-year-old defensive end Jim Marshall. He'll be 41 on December 30th. But he's the National Football League's answer to Superman. He started every regular season and postseason game the Vikings have ever played. That number's 272. 2 weeks ago, he recovered a Green Bay fumble to give him 28 career recoveries, improving his NFL record. And the longevity secret, he says he just tries to stay in harmony with himself and his body. He says he believes there's a strength in the human will that most people never really explore. And he says he never looks at what he's going to do as some kind of a triumph over age. He says he just looks at every game, every down for what it demands of him. And he says the demands are not that difficult, whether you're 21, 31, or 41. He says, but to be able to play all the time and keep his body functioning when he's hurt or sick, he says you have to have peace. According to Vikings coach Bud Grant, he has a less detailed explanation. He says all we do is schedule games on Sunday afternoons.
Cowboys are +4 in turnovers this afternoon. In the last 4.5 games, they are +10. And that, folks, is why the turnaround has been accomplished. They were -13 at one point when they were 6-4.
They're, by being +4 on the afternoon, they're now up to a -3 for the season. And if they're not careful here, by the time they finish with the Jets next week, they'll be back to even.
Or plus. In the games they lost 5 turnovers, 4 turnovers, 4 turnovers, and 5 turnovers. And you can see the effect that it has. 3 fumble recoveries and a pass interception. Dallas has the ball. First down 10 at the Eagle 42. Staubach sends Drew Pearson in motion wide to the right side, out of the flip. Play action. Rogers back to throw. Now rolls right, flips it across the middle of Dorsett. Tony to the 35, the 30, goes right to the 25, the 20, first down 10. A quick 20-yard pickup for the Cowboys. Tony Dorsett from Roger Staubach. And the Dodgers having another awful afternoon. He's now 12 out of 16 for about 152.
So that was a remarkable pass because Charlie Johnson was on him, had him by the left arm, and Roger turned around and said, excuse me, you can tackle me in a moment here, but I've just got to complete this pass. I'll be right back. And flipped it over the middle of Dorsett, and he was off and running.
I wish you all could see Brad Sham right now. He's got that blue scarf up around his neck, and he's got the gloves on, and he's huddled up. All of us are standing, and he's got the pipe sitting there.
I'm comfortable.
Looks like a bearded sage. First down. Staubach will throw again. Blitz is on. He flips it out, and it's incomplete. A flag is thrown. Interference is called on Bobby Howard at the 4-yard line. And Roger was belted by the blitz of Drew Mahalik. It'll be first down and goal for the Cowboys as Howard was stumbling all over Billy Joe Dupree.
And
they're booing, but there wasn't any doubt.
No, he bumped him. No question about it. He bumped him. Fortunately for the Cowboys, because of the pressure Mahalik put on the blitz, Roger underthrew the ball quite a bit.
It'll be first down goal at the 9. Jackie Smith comes in along with Tom Rafferty. Tony Hill checks out.
All right, here's where old Graham Smith catches one.
Can we please hope so?
They had a ball for him that he wanted. He had some guy's autograph, and they were saving it for him at the practice field, and the label on it was S-M-I-F-F. Smith.
Smith is to the left side along with Dupree. Drew Pearson is wide to the right side. Staubach has it for handoff. Laidlaw, Scott driving to the 5-yard line over left guard. Went behind the power of Dupree, Donovan, and Jackie Smith.
I asked Jackie yesterday, I said, have you thought about next year? I mean, do you want to play next year? He said, well, not really, but I didn't want to play this year either.
He's catching on. He walked up to me in the locker room today, which is, well, if it isn't Werns Lundquist.
We have probably made this point before, but it just bears repeating how well he's fit into this.
Oh, what a class.
They just love it, and he has really played an important leadership role on this club.
Darn right. Jackie Smith is in the wing to the right side. Maybe this will be it. Roger Staubach hands it off to Dorsett. Tony driving and is cut down at the 1. It'll be third and goal for the 1. Mr. Doug Todd, the Cowboys Public Relations Director, has made a second visit to the booth, and he has now joined us in calling for the pass to Jackie Smith. Tom just hasn't listened to it. Jackie's been with the team all year and has yet to catch a pass. Not all year.
You heard what Tom said to Frank Lieber last week about how this is how much Tom is in the game, about Drew and the streak not getting off. I'll tell you that here in a second.
Jackie Smith goes wing to the right side. Rayfield Wright is the tight end to the right, and Dupree is tight left. It's third down and goal at the 1. Big split behind Staubach. Roger hands it off to Laidlaw, who is driving and does not appear to have the touchdown. It'll be fourth and goal at the 1-yard line.
Tom is so intense as they bring in the field goal team about he almost thinks that he is in the game himself, and Frank was asking him about the fact that they had not hit Drew Pearson on his streak, and Tom said, yeah, I thought I'd hit him in the first quarter, but I guess I hadn't.
And notice the way he talked. I thought I had hit him.
Yeah.
He does do that.
Right.
I didn't throw the ball enough today, or I ran too much.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Cowboys brought the field goal unit on. Now they switch and bring the offense back on. So the Eagles bring their field goal defensive unit out and bring their regular goal line defense back in. And the Cowboys, after all of that, call timeout. Confusion reigns on the Cowboy bench here in late December, early December in Philadelphia. There's a momentary break in the action, so let's pause for this.
At Cleveland, a 22-yard field goal by Cockcroft, and the Cleveland Browns now leading the Jets 20-10. At Atlanta, a 21-yard field goal by Mazzelli with 4 seconds remaining in the half. And so at halftime, it's Washington 10, Atlanta 10. Other halftime scores: Buffalo 10, New England 7. The Giants 10, St. Louis nothing. And we have a third period score just in. Green Bay and Chicago are scoreless at the end of the first period. Getting underway in about an hour now. Houston is at New Orleans. Kansas City at Denver. Miami is at home against Oakland. Tampa Bay is at San Francisco. And Seattle is playing at San Diego. And you'll hear that game on the Parade of Sports.
Now the Cowboys bring the field goal unit back on the field. And the Cowboy offense, what is going on over there?
I don't know, but Danny White is in the lineup. When did Danny White come in on the field? Danny's going to hold
for Rafael Septien. Now that doesn't give you any ideas, does it? Danny White will hold instead of Charlie Waters. Septien apparently will try the field goal. It's down, it's up, it's through, and good. All of that for a field goal. Okay. Thank you very much. There's a timeout on the field with our score. The Cowboys 24, the Eagles 7. Dallas Cowboy football continues after this word.
In the National Football League Saturday, Pittsburgh 35, Baltimore 13, Detroit 45, Minnesota 14. In college football, Eastern Illinois 10, Delaware 9. That was the NCAA Division II final. And in the NCAA Division I AA semifinal, Massachusetts 44, Nevada Reno 21. In college basketball Saturday, Notre Dame 81, UCLA 78, Michigan State 92, Fullerton State 89, Louisville 101, Idaho 54, Kentucky 67, Kansas 66 in overtime. Texas 85, Oklahoma State 70, Michigan 66, Dayton 61, North Carolina State 108, Campbell 83, Indiana 80, Bradley 64, North Carolina 85, Jacksonville 56, Syracuse 70, Rhode Island 68, San Francisco 78, Sacramento State 59.
Cowboys have 4 turnovers on the day, and 3 of the 4 times they have gotten the ball via the turnover route, they have scored. 2 touchdowns and a field goal. And they have a 24-7 lead, except the end is set to kick. Jamona and Wilbert Montgomery are deep. Wally Nicholson had Benny Barnes deep to receive the kick from Philadelphia. There's a scoop. 31 and 31. It's Wilbert Montgomery at the goal line. Back to the 10, the 15, the 20. 25 takes a bump and is knocked down as David Stahl sitting shoulder high, and Larry Brinson was down low at the 26-yard line. Mark my words. All right.
Dave Stalls will play Sunday in the Cowboy defensive line.
Where do I mark them?
Right here on the deal. I think the times he's got a chance to play, he's looked aggressive, hard hitting, and you must keep in mind that in Jethro Pugh and Larry Cole, the Cowboys have a couple of very veteran players.
You bet. First and 10. Here come the Eagles down by 17. 5:34 to go, third quarter. Jaworski for the day has been very conservative. He's thrown it only 10 times, 4 out of 10, but he's almost in a must-pass situation now. Carmichael right side, the handoff. Nope, it's Jaworski throwing the ball, and it's tipped and incomplete. Tipped in the line of scrimmage by Ed Too Tall Jones. Just reached the big left paw up there and batted the ball down.
He didn't even have to leave his feet. He just turned around and stuck his hands up.
Well, he's the only guy who's taller than Carmichael. They ought to put him out there on a quarterback spot and let he and Carmichael go at each other.
Either that, or we're right across the street from the Spectrum where the 76ers play basketball. For a halftime show, they should have busted everybody in there and had a dunking contest between Too Tall and Carmichael.
That's right. Carmichael comes to the right side against the 6-footer, Benny Barnes. And Charles Smith is wide left. It's second down and 10. Jaworski now 4 out of 11. Will throw. Maximum blitz is on. Harvey hits him. The ball is tossed up and incomplete. Oh, it's Henderson, not Harvey. And Jaworski's on his back, and Henderson helps him up. Blitzing Thomas Henderson just obliterated Jaworski, and it was a good play by Ron Jaworski simply to get rid of the football. He's now 4 out of 12 for 59 yards.
Thomas is playing well today.
Yes, he is playing well. It's third down and 10. And Ken Payne comes up. In, Richard Osborne comes out. The Eagles will go with the 3 wide receiver offense, which has not caused the Cowboys all that much trouble. The one Philadelphia drive in the first quarter, they went 73 yards, and Carmichael caught a key pass. He has caught 2 for 49 yards.
I suppose if things don't go well for the Eagles, they could bring Pete Rose in here. He's getting paid enough. He should be able to help them, too.
That's right. Third down and 10. 2 wide receivers left side. Here's Jaworski back to throw. Cowboys have the rush on. Harvey goes right by him. Now Randy White hits him as he throws the ball, and it's incomplete. Jaworski was simply trying to get rid of it that time, and he's 4 for 13. Harvey went right over Jaworski's head and missed the sack.
Vern, do you get the feeling that the Cowboy defense, especially the front, is playing now the way they did at the end of last year and in the playoffs?
Absolutely, I do, yes. We should have the same conversation here that we had on the bus today relative to the playoffs. Who will make it and who will go? Well, Mr. Brad Sham and I have a very strong feeling that Los Angeles is a darn good football team, and don't let them blow you to sleep right now. Here's a snap back to Mike Michelle, but there are some on the tour who think that the Rams are overrated. We don't. Here's Johnson at the 41-yard line, gets back to the 42, and the Cowboys take over at that spot.
Pretty good field position for the Cowboys.
Not bad.
So they're there are those who feel, some in the Cowboy front office and the press corps, and we're talking today, there are some folks who just frankly don't think the Rams are that good, and the Rams, they think, are going to lose to whoever they play first, and the Cowboys are never going to have to go to L.A. And Vern and I just don't agree. We're anticipating a trip to Los Angeles late in January, and absolutely no guarantees of any outcome of that game.
Absolutely. I don't know what anybody's forgotten, but that team impressed me out there in October. I'll promise you that.
Amen.
They were every bit as good that day as New England was last Sunday. First down and 10. Cowboys have the ball. Drew Pearson starts in motion. Pitch out. Dorsett comes left. Big hole. And Tony is up there the 48-yard line before he is stopped. Let's pause 15 seconds for station identification. This is the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. For Tony Dorsett, he's got 60 yards now on 14 carries, and the ball at the 48-yard line. Second down and 3, Cowboys. Laidlaw right side, Dorsett to the left. Staubach has it, hands it off to Scott Laidlaw, comes left, gets a block from Wallace, he's to the 50 and down to the 46 for a first down. Dallas at the Philadelphia 46-yard line. Burton Wallace with a good block to get Scott Laidlaw around the corner that time as Berkey made the tackle.
Well played, another little game?
Yeah.
How many Cowboys do you think will be either all-conference or all-pro?
Well, are we talking about all-pro or the Pro Bowl?
No, let's just talk about all-pro, and then we'll talk about the Pro Bowl later. Either all-conference or all-pro.
I've got to think about that one.
Okay.
First down 10, I'm thinking about it.
I know.
But the 47. Here's Dorsett in motion out of the backfield wide to the right side. Staubach is nailed and caught and dropped. As Charlie Johnson anticipated the snap and slipped right over the top, John Fitzgerald and Roger never had a chance.
I'd like to see that in the film to see if he wasn't in there before the ball was snapped.
I can't imagine that he was not. There is a flag down, offside against Johnson. I never saw the flag. I knew he got across quick. That was incredibly quick.
Yeah, I didn't see the flag either. But it had to be. I mean, he was before the ball.
Herman Edwards is calling for a procedure penalty, but he's not going to get one. He may get tossed out here if he keeps arguing.
Now Herman is imploring the gods of Philadelphia, who are imploring him right back.
It'll be a first down 5 for the Cowboys. 3:38 to go in the third quarter, and they lead at 24-7. They have put 10 points on the board here in the second half. Just about bumped over Mike Jolly standing behind me. It's so cold, my nose stopped running.
It froze up.
That's the note that Mr. Jolly has just handed me.
I see.
First and 5, Cowboys at the 41-yard line. Staubach pitch out, the reverse to Tony Hill. Tony is in trouble, but now gets free to the right side. There's a block on Berkey as Hill is free down to the 30 and out of bounds at the 27-yard line. John Fitzgerald, I believe it was, got a great open field block on Bill Berkey to get Tony Hill around the corner, and Randy Logan is injured for the Philadelphia Eagles. The reverse to Tony Hill works for a bunch.
Boy, he's exciting when he gets out in the open field, isn't he?
Oh, yes.
Anyway, Cowboys who might make all.
Oh, okay. Well, Staubach.
Okay.
Dorsett, probably.
Dupree, all conference.
Yeah, Dupree definitely should be in there. Drew Pearson probably will make it.
You think Drew will make it?
The stats aren't going to be as great this year, but the tradition and the history is so good that he may. We'll continue this in a moment. There's a timeout on the field with our score. The Dallas Cowboys 24, the Philadelphia Eagles 7. Dallas Cowboy football continues in a moment.
In college basketball action on Saturday, Louisiana State 98, Tulane 88, Villanova 86, Rutgers 67, Marquette 74, Missouri 57. In the National Basketball Association, Chicago 101, New York 96, Cleveland 115, Philadelphia 107, New Jersey 125, San Diego 120, Washington 101, Phoenix 98, Cleveland 115, Philadelphia 107, Houston 116, Portland 110, Kansas City 132, Detroit 108. It was Denver 113, Milwaukee 103, Golden State 94, Atlanta 84. After Saturday play, the closest lead in the division, in the Central Division of the NBA, Atlanta was just a half a game lead over San Antonio and Houston. Kansas City leads Denver by 2.5 in the Midwest Division.
First and 10 Cowboys at the 27-yard line. Staubach delay play to Tony Dorsett, runs into Pat Donovan, and then comes left, and Drew Mahalik wraps him up. He gained about 2. Mahalik with the tackle. The ball is at the 26-yard line. Okay, let's continue. We've got Staubach, possibly Dorsett.
Possibly Drew Pearson.
Dupree should make it.
He's got to make all-conference.
Pat Donovan should make it.
Pat Donovan gets my vote as the all-conference left tackle.
He should make it. Defensively, Randy White for sure.
Right. Harvey Martin
probably will, but he hasn't had the great season he had a year ago.
But he's got more sacks than anybody on the team.
You're right. Second down and 9. He was also Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL last year, and that counts for something. Here's Laidlaw going right. Looks for a block and doesn't get it, and he is caught and dropped after a gain of 1 by Dennis Harrison.
I think Ed Jones deserves some consideration at a defensive end.
He does, I agree. But the problem you run into is how many guys from one front four you're going to, one of the most ludicrous things in all of the world this year has been 6 All-Americans from one school, Penn State.
Right. Still in all, if these guys deserve it, it's a little easier to pick an All-Pro, I think, than it is an All-American college player.
Okay. Linebackers, D.D. Lewis will be overlooked again.
Right.
Charlie Waters and Cliff Harris, I think both will make it again.
Right. I agree.
There's the Lundquist Sham All-Pro Cowboy team. It's third down. Cowboys will not go from the shotgun. Roger has 1 setback. He has the snap and dances back. Looks deep up in the pocket, goes in the right side. Dupree is all by himself, and the pass is overthrown at the 5. Roger had Billy Joe floating absolutely alone down the sideline and overthrew it.
A little, but he could have caught it. And the Cowboy coaches will look at it in the films and call it a drop.
Now, we just agreed on the All-Pro team. Are we going to disagree on whether or not he should have caught the pass?
Could have.
Oh, could have.
The Cowboy coaches will say if he could have caught it, it's a drop.
Had he been 7-7, yes, he could have caught it.
One other note. Randy White.
Okay.
Randy White is my defensive player of the year.
I got you. Septien will try a field goal of 44 yards. He missed one earlier from this distance. He's 1 of 2 for the day. Here is the snap, and Raphael kicks it low, but it's got legs. It goes wide to the left side and is no good. And Septien a little upset with himself.
And once again, Danny White was holding, and I wonder what the story is on that.
Charlie could have bruised a finger or a hand or something, but we have no indication that that's the case. There's a timeout on the field with our score. Dallas 24, Philadelphia 7. Dallas Cowboy football continues in a moment.
At Cleveland, a 4-yard run by Brian Sipe, and Cleveland now leading the Jets 27-10 in the third quarter. Also in the third quarter, a 31-yard by Miller. Buffalo leading New England now by the score of 17-7. Elsewhere on the scoreboard, halftime, the Giants 10, St. Louis nothing. That was the halftime score. That's also the score at the end of 3 periods. The Giants scoring 10 points in the first quarter, and that's been the scoring through 3 periods. 10-0, the Giants over St. Louis. Washington and Atlanta 10-10. That's in the third period. Green Bay and Chicago are still scored, deadlocked. No score there. At the end of the first quarter, they're well into the second period there now at Chicago. Getting underway later, Houston at New Orleans, Kansas City at Denver, Oakland at Miami, Tampa Bay at San Francisco, and Seattle at San Diego. On Monday, Cincinnati is at Los Angeles. Saturday, Pittsburgh 35, Baltimore 13, Detroit 45, Minnesota 14.
First and 10, Philadelphia. They have the ball at their own 26 with 1:46. We have just been passed another note. And here it is. Eagles back at the 15.
Hey, you got to do something to keep warm, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
We don't have little green warm-ups like those girls down there. We've got to do whatever.
Got the waffle stompers on, the heavy coat, the ski gloves.
I'll tell you, you're a picture with those waffle stompers and the gray ski gloves and the red long johns, and I only wish you could say on the air what that acronym on your rear flap is for.
Well, it's Jazz Dip, and it stands for just another sorry day in paradise. First down and 10.
Standing ovation for improv.
First and 10. Carmichael and Charles Smith are wide to the right side. Jaworski for the day is 4 out of 13. Carmichael has caught 2. Cowboys showing a blitz look. The pitch out. Montgomery goes left and gets up near the 34-yard line before he's knocked down. 1:39 remaining. You'll learn to dress warm in the NFL.
I
like the Eagle broadcast crew right next to us. All of the guys have, well, all save one, have green and white Eagle caps on their heads. And you'll notice that Wally Nicholson has a blue and white cowboy cap on.
Yes, he does. I noticed that right away.
But Gene Shaw doesn't have the tenure, and he's just got a shaggy old blue cap on his
Blue,
head.
yeah.
It's second down and 7. 1:10 remaining. Third quarter, 24-7 Cowboys on top. Charles Smith wide left. Jaworski 2 steps back, looks left, lost his feet, and it is incomplete for Charlie Smith sideline up there, the 45-yard line, thrown a little behind him. And the crowd responds in a negative fashion to the effort, but I don't know what Jaworski could have done.
Well, or Smith, either one, because Aaron Kyle was step for step with him, had very good coverage, and Jaworski couldn't have thrown it anywhere else, or he would have been intercepted. And Smith couldn't have done anything more to try to catch the ball where it was thrown.
Richard Osborne comes out now, the tight end, and another wide receiver, Ken Payne, comes in. We have 1:01 to go, third quarter.
You know, should the Eagles lose this game, then the playoff prospects become of headache variety, because then they've got 6 losses, and the Packers and the Vikings have 6.5 losses, and the loser of the Atlanta-Washington game has 6 losses.
It's confusing. Ken Payne wide left on third down and 7. 2 wide receivers wide right. Took too long. Flag is down, delay of game. Oh, they call timeout. There's a flag in the defensive backfield, though, so they may not have gotten to call timeout in time. They did call timeout in time. The flag went, but Jaworski knew he was in trouble and asked for time. So the Eagles used the timeout, even though the flag went down. And Cliff Harris goes over to use this time to talk with Ernie Stuckner on the far side.
Perhaps we ought to talk just a little bit about the playoffs, because I don't know about you, Vern, but I've had a surprising number of calls at the office from people who don't understand who plays when and where and on what week.
One of them was from me.
Yeah, that's right. Vern said, "Can you help me, please?" And the story is that the first weekend after the regular season ends, Christmas weekend, all the division champions have the week off, and there are 2 wild cards in each conference this year. And that weekend, Christmas weekend, there will be 1 wild card game in each conference. The winners of those games then go into the playoff pool, and it picks up just like it was a year ago. And that starts New Year's weekend. And the Cowboys will be at home, should they hang on and win this game in the next 16 minutes, and play
Somebody,
depending on who wins the West or the Central if the Rams don't beat Cincinnati and Green Bay.
And who the wild card is if the Saints fall down.
That's right.
It's third down and 7. Eagles, they're back at the line of scrimmage at their own 29. Jaworski looks right, fires it out. It is caught for the first down by Charles Smith at the 39-yard line. And he is rudely belted out of bounds. But the Eagles get their first down of the second half. Benny Barnes made the tackle. And they keep the drive going at the 39-yard line. And the crowd, a little derisive texture to that applause with the announcement that that is a first down.
Just to follow up on the playoff picture just a little bit more, the Cowboys will in all probability play a wild card team, or if it's Atlanta.
Yeah.
If it's not Atlanta, then they'll play the Central Division champion.
Either Green Bay or Minnesota.
Right.
Got it?
I understand it perfectly.
I just hope Tom does. It's first down 10 at the 39. Eagles trail 24-7. Jaworski back to throw again. The rush is on. He's going deep left side. It is tipped away by Aaron Kyle, who had a good shot at the interception. Intended for Ken Payne, and Aaron was just laying back there like a fox waiting on it.
Well, that was a great defensive play from top to bottom. Excellent outside pinching pressure from the ends as Martin and Jones really pushed the tackles inside. Jaworski stepped up nicely in the pocket, got the pass away. Kyle laid off and waited on the ball just perfectly and stepped in front of Payne and slapped it down. And he was patient. Of course, a lot of cornerbacks will try to go for the interception in that shot. And if they miss the ball, then it's nothing but end zone for the receiver. But Kyle was patient, slapped it down. Very good defensive play on all ends.
Second down 10. Jaworski brings him back up. 5 out of 16 for the day. He's got 7 seconds to get the clock snapped, or the ball snapped. He has it, drops back, the blitz is on. He's going across the middle deep, it's incomplete. Intended for Richard Osborne, the tight end.
But overthrown badly and thrown much more closely to the 2 safeties, Randy Hughes and Cliff Harris.
David Stalls is in there defensively and had pretty good penetration that time.
I'm telling you, the young man is really improved in his play in the defensive line, and I think he's going to be a player as a down lineman. There was just a score flashed on the board that's terribly interesting in light of the playoff stuff we're just talking about. and that is that in the second period, the Bears lead Green Bay 7-0. And if Green Bay loses that game, then you take that Minnesota loss to Detroit yesterday and just erase it.
That's right.
It never happened.
Then Green Bay has to defeat Los Angeles, and Oakland has to defeat Minnesota for Green Bay to get in the playoffs.
Right.
It's 3rd and 10 at the 40-yard line. Jaworski is 5 out of 17. 4-man rush. He rolls out of the pocket to the left, pulls up, and goes deep, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Cliff Harris at the 45. Comes to the 50, the 45, the 40, and is cut down at the 37-yard line. Number 5 on turnovers for the Dallas Cowboys this afternoon.
He got a real good lead block from Dave Stahl, who saw him running in the open field and crunched the man to let him run free. And for Cliff Harris, that is interception number 4 on the year, which makes him second on the team to Benny Barnes, who had his 5th earlier this afternoon. Cliff is having a great day. There's Thomas Henderson down there near the end zone leading cheers and making sure everybody knows what the score is. Who's number 1?
Silence. 1st and 10 at the 36. Cowboys have a chance to put it away now with 27 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. High formation. The pitch out goes to Dorsett. Caught behind the line and dropped all the way back to the 44. Randy Logan, the strong safety, read the key, came through, made the tackle. And the sun comes out again. Was momentarily hidden behind a cloud.
Well, it's really fun to watch the good, strong safeties in the league as they play the run, because people tend to think of the safety's job as nothing more than defending the pass. But the strong safety has so much to do with stopping the run, and you probably heard Billy Joe Dupree talking before about how good Logan is on that very thing.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter with our score. The Dallas Cowboys 24, the Philadelphia Eagles 7. Dallas Cowboy football continues after this word.
Cleveland is now leading the New York Jets by the score of 27-10. That's at the end of the 3rd quarter. At New England, a 4-yard run by Grogan, and so Buffalo leading New England now by 17-14. That game is in the 3rd quarter. The scoring in this game, Laidlaw on a 1-yard run to give Dallas a 7-0 lead in the 1st quarter. Staubach hit Dorsett on a 15-yard touchdown pass to make it 14-0 Dallas. Hogan on a 1-yard run to make it 14-7, and that was a halftime score. Then Dallas with a touchdown and a field goal in the 3rd quarter. The touchdown on a 23-yard run by Dorsett, and then an 18-yard field goal by Septian, and so that's it, 24-7. Dallas leading Philadelphia in the 3rd quarter. Dallas, if it holds on to this lead and wins the contest, will clinch the home field advantage in the National Football Conference.
Back to play for the final 15. Vern Lundquist along with Brad Sham here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. A sun-shining day in December, 32 degrees. The Cowboys have a 2nd down and 18 as Tony Dorsett lost 8 on that last carry. He's now carried 16 times for 54 yards. 2nd and 18, Laidlaw and Dorsett in the backfield. Laidlaw has 31 yards. Roger has thrown 12 out of 17. And 1 touchdown. He'll throw now. Fakes the screen, flips it out to Scott Laidlaw. There's a block miss, but Scott gets it to the 40, 35, the 30. Still running to the 25, the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Laidlaw! Scott Laidlaw, touchdown on the screen pass from 46 yards away. What a play as it developed. Staubach with the fake handoff to the right and spun around with the fake pump, turned to the left, saw Laidlaw on the left side, flipped it out to him, and then a key in the play. Remember, Vern told you there was a block miss. Herb Scott out in front missed the block on Mihalik, but Laidlaw slid inside of him anyway, swivel hipped on down the field, showed us some speed I didn't think he had, got into the open, and he was gone. That's Scott's 2nd touchdown of the day. And it is Roger Staubach's 25th touchdown pass in 1978. He wipes out the old record held by Don Meredith, established in 66. Here's Septian on the kicking, and he does and hammers it home. There's a timeout in the field with our score now. The Dallas Cowboys 31, Philadelphia 7. Dallas Cowboy football continues after this word.
In the National Hockey League Saturday, Detroit 5, the Rangers 4, the Islanders 3, Toronto 2, Philadelphia 9, Boston 2, Washington 7, Vancouver 5, Buffalo and Pittsburgh a 4-4 tie, Chicago 4, St. Louis 2, Minnesota 3, Colorado 0, Los Angeles 5, Atlanta 1. In the World Hockey Association Saturday, Quebec 4, Cincinnati 3, Birmingham 6, Edmonton 2. The Rangers are leading Atlanta, and the Islanders are leading Atlanta and the Rangers by 5 points in the National Hockey League's Campbell Conference Patrick Division. Vancouver is leading Chicago by just 1 point in the Smythe Division. It's a 9-point lead for Montreal over Los Angeles in the North Division of the Wales Conference, and Boston is leading Toronto by 9 points in the Adams Division. Quebec is a leader by 1 point over Cincinnati and New England in the World Hockey Association standings.
The short kickoff is taken up at the 30-yard line and returned to the 35, and the Eagles will get a first down 10 at their own 35-yard line, and they're all but out of it now, 31-7. So we'll start looking for changes the Cowboys might be making on offense and defense, but I look out there now and see the number 1 unit. Now Dede Lewis and Bob Bruning go out, and we'll see who all is in there. Harvey Martin is still in, Larry Cole, Ed Jones, and Randy White up front. Hagman is in. Kyle is still in. Waters, nope. Charlie Waters is wide to the right side. Randy Hughes is also in. Here's Jaworski back to pass. Looks across the middle, fires it. It's caught by Wilbert Montgomery. He's driven out of bounds at the 40-yard line. And already the stadium empty.
A fine tackle by Thomas Henderson on Montgomery. Out in the open field. They just had the prevent in. Now Larry Cole goes out, replaced by Dave Stalls. See what else they do.
14:31 to go in the ball game. It's 31-7. And the Cowboys are going to be at home for the first round of the playoffs. And they will be at home tonight at DFW Airport at approximately 8 o'clock.
Speaking of this, Mr. Nicholson, 8 o'clock. That was the voice of the captain, my captain, Wally Jaworski.
Second down. And 6, Jaworski draw play. Oh, what a tackle on Wilbert Montgomery. What a collision. Who was that truck?
Randy White.
Oh, that hurt.
Well, it was Thomas Henderson.
It was Henderson. Our monitor is 4 booths down. It's kind of tough to see.
Yeah, I'm looking over 3 sets of shoulders, but it was Hollywood. Randy White got in the bottom of the pile. Had we had a Magnavox monitor in here, we could have seen that it was Henderson. Boy, he's playing well.
Yes, he is. Third down and 3. Eagles back at the line. Let's see if Jaworski might want to throw, even though it's short yardage. He's got 3 wide receivers in the game. Jaworski will pass. He's back. Here comes the pressure, and he trips it out incomplete.
He does what?
Trips it out. That's from my old Chinese lesson.
The pressure was applied by Jones and by Dave Stahl, who got a real good inside rush.
It'll be 4th down, and Mike Michel is on the kick, and Butch Johnson on to receive. 31-7 Cowboys lead. 13:42 to go. They have opened it up here in the second half, had a 14-7 lead at halftime. Michel is back to the 28. The return is on. Michel, nice kick. Butch Johnson over the shoulder, drops it, goes back, tries to pick it up at the 5, has it, up the sidelines and out of bounds at the 7.
Physical error.
There's a touchdown on the field with a high score. The Cowboys 31 and the Eagles 7. Dallas Cowboys football continues after this word.
In the history of the NBA, only one team has finished a season making at least half of its field goal attempts. The Milwaukee Bucks in the 70-71 season, and led by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the Bucks hit for a .509 percentage. That's almost 51%, and that carried them into the league championship. So far this season, the Los Angeles Lakers, also led by center Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, have converted 1,134 of their 2,150 field goal attempts for an average of almost 53%. The Lakers are just one of 5 teams shooting at 50% or better from the field. The Houston Rockets are hitting at 50% even. The San Antonio Spurs are shooting just about 51%, and the Phoenix Suns are shooting just about 52%. Abdul-Jabbar leads the Lakers in field goal percentage with a 59% mark. Adrian Dantley joins him along the top 10 tuners in the league this year. Artis Gilmore of Chicago is the league leader. He's hitting on almost 64% of his
Cowboys
shots
have the ball at their own 7-yard line with 13:30 to go in the game and a 31-7 lead, and Roger Staubach is still the quarterback. Why? I don't know. Tom Landry said he would be substituting today and giving some of the backup players a chance. Danny White is warming up, so maybe after this series. Laidlaw and Dorsett in the backfield on first down 10. The handoff, Tony comes right and is met high at the line of scrimmage and knocked backwards by Bill Berge. There they go again. Berge and Dorsett. Remember the argument they got into here right about that same spot on the field?
Last year, remember what Tony said about it afterwards?
Yes.
How he described it?
Yes, sir, Mr. Berge.
Yeah. Carry that ball next time, rookie, is what Berge said. You bring it here. Yes, sir, Mr. Berge?
Second down to 9, a gain of 1. 13 minutes to go.
But Tony says that he and Berge in the offseason have become very good friends.
I would, too, if I were Tony.
Oh.
It's second down 9. Laidlaw to the right side and Dorsett to the left. Dupree in motion wide left. Roger pitches out to Scott Laidlaw, cuts up the field to the 10, driving out near the 14-yard line. It'll be third down and 2. They may give him the 15 as Bill Berge makes the tackle. The clock running with 12:34 remaining in the game.
Get the impression that Scott's trying to tell Robert Newhouse not to rush anything?
That's right. Hey, this place is just about empty. There are a lot of folks who have gone home. Laidlaw now 41 yards on the day. 39 yards according to Gene. 41 according to the scoreboard. We believe Gene, right?
Absolutely.
It's third down and 2 Cowboys. Dorsett in motion wide right. Roger will throw. Rolls to his right. Flips it out. Incomplete. Tipped perhaps by Dennis Harrison. Nope, it wasn't. Roger just slapped his helmet and says, oh, my goodness. Why did I do that?
Well, now Danny White can come in the game.
Yeah, he's in to punt on fourth down and 2. Next week at the New York Jets. And then a week off. Look of chagrin passes the countenance of our captain, Wally Nicholson, who does not care for Shea Stadium. Hey, I tell you what, bring your waffle stompers and your long johns next week as well.
Yeah,
it's cold there. Here comes the rush on White. Danny sends a nice kick deep. Sharrock fair catch and has it at the 49-yard line of Philadelphia. So the Eagles get it back 51 yards away. 24-point lead by the Cowboys with 11:53 to go. We have not had the greatest score service here, and they don't have a large scoreboard, so we are pretty well limited to telling you what else is going on around the league by those few times when they do put other scores up on the board. And they have not done so in a while, so our last report on Washington-Atlanta was 10-10. Timeout has been called on the field with a 31-7 Cowboy lead. Montgomery 72 yards. Hogan has 18. Jaworski a long afternoon. 6 for 20 for 74. He's been sacked 4 times and has 2 interceptions.
Now, it looks like the first string defense is still out there. There's Harvey Martin, Randy White, Ed Jones, Dede Lewis, Aaron Kyle, Harris, Waters, Barnes, Henderson.
Pretty well covers him.
Yeah, is that old Bubba there at left tackle?
Yep.
Bob Lilly was telling me this week, says, I guarantee you, says Bubba could play another 2 years at least if he wants to. And play well.
I think he will.
I do too.
I rather think he will.
He needs the exposure for that home building business he's got out there in Bedford.
Gave him a shot on the pregame show to mention that. He's got a large development going into Colleyville.
Does he?
Yes.
Lundquist family wouldn't happen to be moving anytime soon.
Not in the market. No, we're going to stay where we are.
Okay.
First down and 10. 49-yard line. Jaworski has him in the eye on first down. Ron Jaworski, long count. Carmichael starts in motion wide to the right side. Motion to the offensive line, I believe, and I think, yep, it is. 5-yard penalty against the Eagles.
Looks like Sizemore might have jumped a little bit, anticipating the rush at Ed Jones, and who wouldn't?
They're having quite a battle this afternoon, Ed Jones and Jerry Sizemore, and Ed Jones just happened to have a few things to say about Jerry Sizemore. He took his time to say them, but when he did, this is what he had in mind.
Jerry Sizemore is one of Philly's strong and very aggressive offensive linemen. Probably one of the reasons why Montgomery is one of the leading rushers in the league, and it'll take my best effort to have a good game against Jerry.
In the 7 years I have known Gary Brandt, I have not seen him move that quickly. It's first down and 15. Thank you, Gary. He We've just kind of lulled into lack of activity. Here's Jaworski back to throw, and Harvey's going to bury him back to the 31. That's the 5th quarterback sack. Harvey was not even touched by Stan Walters.
Harvey loves those plays. Harvey looks up and says, oh, he's dropping back. Let me just take these little pins and pin back my ears and just wait here, Stan. I'll see you in a down or two. Gone.
5 sacks for minus 32 for the Cowboy front 4. And it's now 2nd down, 26 at the 34-yard line with 11:35 to go in the ball game.
Last time I saw anybody's eyes got as big as Harvey's, just did Willie Mays. Saw Billy Pierce hang a curve to him one day in Wrigley Field.
3 wide receivers in for the Eagles now on 3rd down or 2nd down and 26. 4-man rush for the Cowboys. Jaworski's back up in the pocket. Shakes the rush of Ed Jones. Tipped up and almost intercepted by Thomas Henderson. An acrobatic attempt by Thomas. And he clenches his hands to his helmet and says, oh me, oh my, I'm on television and I dropped it.
But, says Thomas, the camera is still here to show perhaps a bit of acting. Perhaps to show ever so clear. Now he looks at the bench, looks over at Jerry Tubbs, palms up and says, oh, coach.
Had he made it, it would have been a heck of a play.
It would have been a great play. He made a great dive to break the ball up.
3rd down and 26.
We kid Thomas a lot, and he deserves every bit of that, but he's still a heck of a linebacker.
Yes, you're right, he is. He does have some mustard, though, that he takes with him to games. It's 3rd down and 26, and Jaworski's back to throw. Rolls away from the rush. He's buried. David Stahl's got him. And David steps up, does a little hand slapping with him, too tall Jones. A little salt and pepper hand slap. That is the 6th sack today. And Mike Michel is on to punt with 11:02 to go in the game. Well, I would like to see 2 things happen, even though the score is 31-7. 3 things happen.
Danny White throw.
Yes.
Jackie Smith catch a touchdown.
Yes, who's the other one?
Bob Steele catch a pass.
You got it 3 for 3. Here's the kick from Michel. It takes a Philadelphia roll right by Butch Johnson. He finally picks it up, shakes the tackle at the 30, tries to go left, is losing yardage all the way back to the 23.
And here come the reserves. I think Jim Cooper is going to play a little center. Well, just one reserve. Cooper at center. Fitzgerald's the only guy who's going to get a rest right now.
Nope, Danny White is in. Let's pause 15 seconds for station identification. This is the Dallas Cowboy Radio Network.
The Dallas Cowboys are the offensive leaders in the National Football League. They lead in the entire National Football League in total offense. They lead the National Conference in rush offense, and they lead the entire National Football League in pass offense. The top defense.
Cowboys get it back at their own 25 with 10:38 remaining in the game, a 31-7 lead, and we have a few substitutions. Danny White is in the ball game. Robert Steele is in. Jackie Smith is also in. Drew Pearson, by the way, for the day, caught what? Nope, he caught 2 for 15. But Drew has started a new streak. The key catch for the Cowboys was a Tony Hill grab in the 3rd quarter, and then a Dorsett touchdown run of 24 yards. The Hill catch really kind of broke it open. That will, I think, be selected as the big play.
Should be. I would certainly think, because you could almost sense things turn around, then you could sense the line blocking crisply, and they did for Dorsett on the very next play on his touchdown run.
Well, it was a 3rd down 8 call, and it went for 54 yards. Roger will wind up this afternoon with 13 out of 19 for 189 yards, 2 touchdowns, no intercepts, and a sack.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Danny White is the quarterback for the Cowboys. Jackie Smith is tight to the left side. Laidlaw and Dorsett are still in there. Now Smith comes tight to the right side in a wing set. The handoff goes to Scott Laidlaw. He's in the left, breaks into the secondary, and picks up about 9 yards out near the 34-yard line. Scott running very well. Robert Newhouse should be able to get back in uniform next week. Had that fractured leg 3 weeks ago. This is the 3rd game he has missed, and Scott has played not just admirably, he's played extremely well. Almost a 1st down. It's officially a gain of 9 with 10:11 to go in the game. Hey, we're going to be the only ones here when the gun sounds. 2nd down and 1. Don't you know Danny would love to throw the ball a little bit? Yep. Jackie Smith in motion wide left. Jim Cooper snaps it back. The handoff to Laidlaw, caught short. Don't think he got the 1st down. It'll be close at the 35-yard line. May may have leaned forward and picked it up. Next week, we're at the Jets, then a week off, and the Cowboys will be at home against somebody in the playoffs. It'll be 3rd down and 1, just short of the 35-yard line. Burton Wallace brings the play in, and Andy Frederick comes in. There's something going on in the stands.
Usually is.
A score. 17-10, Atlanta over Washington in the 3rd quarter. Thank you. All kinds of fingers pointing down there in the southwest corner, and I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Thought you were going to score in the stands there.
Yeah, oh dear.
Yeah.
3rd down. Quarterback sneak. White has the first down and fumbles the ball, but the Cowboys recover. Billy Joe Dupree got on it. Cowboys first down at the 39-yard line.
Well, do you think Tom will let him throw it a little bit?
I kind of think he might with 9 minutes to go. I don't know. You know, Tom is... That could have implications of running up the score, though I don't believe it. You know, but some might construe it as such. 31-7, so I rather think they'll just keep it on the ground. Andy Frederick is in at right tackle now. Rayfield Wright is on the bench. Robert Steele spots the right side. High formation. The handoff, Tony Dorsett. Tony up the middle for about 3 and gets it across the 40 near the 42-yard line. Preston Pearson and Butch Johnson come in now. And Tony Dorsett will leave, and Jackie Smith will leave. Dorsett with 18 carries for 60 yards. 8:10 to go in the game. Clock running down. There is something going on in the stands up there. Philadelphia's finest are meeting en masse. We got something going on. Here's Steele in motion, and White back to throw. Looks across the middle, and he is buried. Maybe Danny doesn't want to throw it now. Oh, Dennis Harrison just nailed him all the way back to the 33-yard line. So now they are in a passing situation. On 3rd down.
Came right over Andy Frederick.
That was one of those lookout blocks.
Check right. Where he misses it, turns right back to the lookout, Danny.
3rd down at 15. 7:40 to go in the game. See if the Cowboys go for the shotgun. Preston Pearson has replaced Dorsett. He and Labar are the backs. And there will be a shotgun formation now. Robert Steele wide to the right side and Butch Johnson wide left. 31-7 Cowboys on 3rd and 15. The blitz is on. White is back. Looks out at the flat, and it's incomplete. Laidlaw dropped it at the 40-yard line. Scott's really upset with himself. Can't believe it. Hit him right in the hand. He would have been short of the first down at the point where the catch would have been made, but might have been able to work for it. John Shara back to receive the punt of Danny White on 4th down and 15 at the 33. 31-7 game. Cowboys scored 14 on their first 2 possessions from 5 yards out and 15 yards out. Had a 14-7 lead at halftime. Here's the kick by Danny White. Low kick. Shara at the 37. Comes left. Caught. Dropped. Brunig and Benny Barnes at the 36. So Jaworski brings them back on with 7:10 to go in the ball game. And an empty Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia.
But look at the positive side. Nobody to boo.
There's a flag down. Where? No, Brad. No, Gary just spotted a pretty cheerleader pointing down there. You'll notice.
Just kidding, Marge.
You'll notice that, you know, you and I. Now he's pointing
Oh,
again.
there is a flag.
There
Look
is
at
a
that.
flag.
Hey, throwing a flag. All right.
All right, Gary. Nice, thank you. Here's the penalty. Illegal cut against the Eagles. The Cowboys will. No, it's not. Too many men downfield too early.
See, when the guy puts his 2 hands on top of his head like that, that means illegal receiver downfield on the play. If he comes down here like this and goes below it, that's the illegal cut.
It also stands for too many announcers out too late.
Well, I thought we were all back watching the Notre Dame basketball game last night.
There were a lot of us watching the Notre Dame UCLA basketball game last night. Admirable.
How much of it did you see, sir? Heard about a lot of it anyway.
May I take pains to point out that you're addressing your comments to Mr. Brandt,
not to
me.
you. Not to you.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, Cass. Here's the kick by Danny. Hangs it up. Shara at the 40 this time. Fumbles the ball. There'll be a scramble for it. Shara goes back and gets it at the 35-yard line. Went right through his hand.
Really alert play by Aaron Kyle, who made a dive. As soon as he saw the ball loose, he made a racing dive with Shara for the ball. But Shara had position on him and got to the ball, but Aaron was there to wrap him up.
First down and 10 for Philadelphia at the 35-yard line. Cowboys will go 11-4 in this extended regular season of 1978. And they will be at home against somebody in the playoffs in 3 weeks from today, or perhaps on Saturday. That'll all be determined. Dave Stalls and Larry Bethea are in the defensive line now for the Cowboys. Aaron Kyle and Benny Barnes are still the quarterbacks.
Hegman's in.
And Cliff Harris and Randy Hughes are the safeties now. Jaworski has him back at the line of scrimmage on a 31-7 game. Inside handoff to Mike Hogan. Big hole comes left to the 40, 45, 50, and down. First down. He gained 15 on that play. And the clock will continue to run with 6:45 remaining. The tackle made by Cliff Harris. Maybe our vote for most valuable player today.
Got mine. Fourth quarter score just flashed on the board. Cleveland ahead of the Jets, 27-24. Jets got him. Do you know that Matt Robinson, the Jets quarterback, has the best yards per attempt average in the NFL?
Because he's throwing to Wesley Walker. It's first down 10 Eagles at the 50-yard line. High formation behind Ron Jaworski. Jaworski hands it off to Wilbert Montgomery, coming left and getting about 3 yards. Randy White made the tackle, 4-year All-Pro from the University of Maryland. Look down here at our Dallas photographers who are jumping up and down, attempting to keep warm. I don't know why Tippett and Cummings would think that they need to jump up and down to keep warm.
What are you suggesting, good sir?
That body weight helps. It's second down and 6, 5:45 to go in the ball game. Play action. Jaworski wants it all. Goes deep right side. Has a man open. It's Carmichael at the 15. Carmichael at the 10. Tackled at the 4. He got loose down the right side. Long gain for the Eagles. Benny Barnes was trying to cover him. Didn't work that time. Benny had some comments on Harold Carmichael.
He creates a problem for, I think, most secondary people because of his height and, his agility. When you're 6'9", you don't have too much of a problem, but you don't find too many 6'9" defensive backs. But we're going to have to contain him because he is one of their big threats.
Well, they've done a good job on him for the most part today. That is his third catch for 91 yards. And he did have the catch that led to the first touchdown for Philadelphia. But that time, Carmichael got loose. Bills leading the Pats 24-21 in the fourth quarter. Wow. First and goal, Eagles. Double tight end set. Jaworski hands it off on the right side to Mike Hogan. He circles around, tries to get outside, and can't, and is driven down. Benny Barnes up on top, and Charlie Waters helping out on the tackle. No gain on the play. Clock stops with 4:49 to go. Chicago leading Green Bay 14-0 in the third quarter.
Packers are going to take the gas.
We need to start writing these things down so we'll have them. I say that on the air because I can't take the mic off, but try and get all the scores for you that we can after a while, because those are some critical games here on this 13th or 15th game of the regular season. Second down and goal from the 4. 4:23 to go in the football game. 31-7 Cowboys on top. Again, the double tight end set with a wing to the right side. Jaworski marking out the signals. The handoff goes to Mike Hogan. Plunging, touchdown. It was Larry Barnes instead of Mike Hogan. Barnes, left side, got in for the score, and it's 31-13. So the long pass play to Harold Carmichael sets up the touchdown. And Barnes got it on the left side from 4.5 yards out. And Mike Michel is on to try and make the score 31-14. 8 o'clock arrival back at DFW for the Cowboys. Mike Michel with the extra point. The kick is blocked in the line of scrimmage. Ed too tall, Jones again. It's about 5 for the year that Ed has blocked. Field goals or extra points. And it remains 31-13 with 4:11 to go in the ball game. Tell you, we got old Gene Shaw just going crazy over there. Writing figures down, right and left. Brad Sham has departed now and gone down to the Cowboy locker room show. On the road, it is not the across from the locker room show. It's the locker room show. And Brad will be talking with members of the Dallas Cowboy football team about this victory here in Philadelphia. Been one of the easier games Dallas has played here in recent years. Easily accomplished victory, that is. But it was a struggle for the first half. And Dallas broke it open with 10 points in the third quarter and 7 more in the fourth. 64-yard touchdown drive by Philadelphia in 5 plays. And they have narrowed the margin to 18 now, 31-13. But the clock will be running and counting down with 4:11 to go. Tony Hill is up close, ready for the onside attempt by Mike Michel. Cowboys have Butch Johnson back at the 10-yard line, but they have 10 men up within 15 yards of the line of scrimmage. So the ball will be spotted at the 35. And everybody in the park who is still here looking for the onside kick by Mike Michel. Here's the kick by Michel. He comes left, and it is recovered by Philadelphia. The Eagles get the onside kick at the Cowboy 48. Well, this could get really interesting. Sitting here talking about how it's a Cowboy victory, but it's 31-13 with 4:04 remaining. And the Eagles have the ball at the 47. That ball came left and bounced right up, and nobody came close for the Cowboys. Jaworski fleets it back out. He's 7 for 22 for 116 now. Cowboys have Harvey Martin back in there. David Stalls is still in. Ed Jones and Randy White up front. Henderson, Brunig, and D.D. Lewis. High formation with first down 10 at the 47. Jaworski play action, quick screen out right side, caught by Charles Smith, comes left to the 50, starts to the 45, a flag is down as he is tackled at the 43-yard line. There's a flag on the far side of the field. We may get a clipping call. Dave Stalls made that tackle that time. Personal foul, clipping against Philadelphia. 31-13 Cowboy lead with 3:53 remaining. Holiday trip to New York City next week. If the Jets should lose today to Cleveland, they will not have a chance at the playoffs, and that'll take some of the onus off that ball game. They will not have much incentive other than respectability for that game. So in that case, the Cowboys kind of hoping for a Cleveland victory, simply to take any kind of incentive away from the Jets next week. Philadelphia losing today, of course, would just about be out of playoff hopes. And Atlanta leading Washington 17-10. Our last report on that ball game. Another critical game coming up later this afternoon, Miami and Oakland. Denver is at home against Kansas City. Seattle has a tough road game today at San Diego. Some of the other division races. And Chicago leading Green Bay. It's first down and 25 now. Motion from Ken Payne, wide to the right side. Jaworski hands it off to Wilbert Montgomery. He is up across the 40 to the 42-yard line. And it'll be second down. Billy Campfield in the ball game. And he carried on that last play. Second down and 20. 3:30 to go in the game. Campfield and Hogan are the running backs. Ron Jaworski, 7 out of 22 for 116. He will not throw. Hands it off to Campfield. He gets to the 46. And they may give him the 47. That'll set up a third down at 15. Ed Jones made the tackle. And the clock unraveling with 3:12 to go. Final score, the Giants over St. Louis, 17-0. Start writing some of these down as they come in so we can update you on scores before it's all over. Oh, we do have a score sheet here. And we'll try and look at those. Okay, final score 17-0. It's 3rd and 15, Eagles. Jaworski back to throw. Stunt in the defensive line. He goes right side. It's tipped by Charlie Waters and incomplete. Charlie almost had a shot at the interception. It'll be 4th down, and the Eagles will be forced to punt. So the onside kick will lead to not. They may go for it. What the heck? With 2:43 to go. 4th down and 15. As a matter of fact, they are going to go for it. Jaworski now 7 out of 23. As Gene Shaw suddenly realizes, whoops. Got his mind on co-pilot. 4th and 15, and Philadelphia will go for it from their own 47-yard line with 2:43 to go in the game. Prevent defense in for the Cowboys. Jaworski is back. Here comes the 4-man rush. Jaworski goes right side. Has a man open. It is caught. First down at the 31-yard line of the Cowboys. Ken Payne with the recovery. Payne and Randy Hughes had a few words to say to each other. Cliff Harris made the tackle and reached up and batted the ball away from Ken Payne. So they complete the 4th down pass, and they have new life at the Cowboy 31-yard line. Carmichael comes left. Is Vince Volley in there? I thought maybe he was. Philadelphia's Rocky. I'm not sure. Here's Jaworski. Fakes the draw play. Looks for the screen. He's buried. Caught. Dropped. Sacked back at the 45. That's the 7th quarterback sack by the Cowboy defense today. That is a season high for Dallas. They have caught him 7 times. There's a timeout on the field with our score. The Dallas Cowboys 31, the Philadelphia Eagles 13. Dallas Cowboy football continues in a moment.
On the scoreboard at Cleveland, a 41-yard field goal by Leahy has tied that game. It's the Jets 27, Cleveland 27. That's late in the 4th quarter. Earlier, a 4-yard pass from Robinson to Schuler made it 27-17. And then just a moment or two ago, a 20-yard pass from Robinson to Harper pulled the Jets a step closer to set up that tying field goal. 24 for the Jets, 27 for Cleveland. But it's now tied at 27 late in the 4th quarter. At New England, a 28-yard run by Ivory. New England 21-17 over Buffalo in the 4th quarter. But then a 22-yard pass from Ferguson to Lewis for Buffalo. And now Buffalo is leading New England 24-21 late in the 4th quarter. A 12-yard run by Dave Kotar, and the Giants leading St. Louis 17-0 in the 4th quarter, and that is a final score. The Giants 17, St. Louis nothing. A 1-yard run by Bean, and Atlanta is leading Washington 17-10 in the 3rd quarter.
Well, we have another fist fight broken out in the stands, and it started with 2, but 3 or more are now getting involved. We may have a melee. Philadelphia's finest has come over to try and break things up, and they're not having much success yet. It's in the end zone. And a smoke bomb goes off in the end zone. That's what that was. And Philadelphia's finest let those kids get out of there. Oh, it's fun here. You never know what's going to happen. It is best to take the victory and fly southwest. And get out of town. That's right. Smoke bomb went off in the end zone, and I think they've finally broken up the conflagration down there. It'll be 2nd down at 23, and Jaworski gets him back at the 44-yard line. Safety blitz is threatened by the Cowboys. Jaworski, long count. Has it, moves back, safety blitz is coming. He goes deep right side. Ken Payne is open, has it, and is out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Picked up about 13. It'll be 2nd down and 10. And that kills the clock with 1:52 remaining in the game. 31-13, Dallas on top. They will be 11-4, and Philadelphia will fall to 9-6 for the year, or 8-7, beg your pardon. 3rd and 11. Cowboys have intercepted Jaworski twice today. They have sacked him 7 times. He is 9 out of 25 for 144. 55 yards in losses will be deducted from the passing team total. 3rd and 11, Jaworski brings him up. Right side, Harold Carmichael. Left side, Ken Payne. Or Charlie Smith. Jaworski back. The stunt is on. He fires it out left side. Dropped by Billy Campfield out of the backfield. He was being followed by Thomas Henderson. And that will bring up a 4th down and 11. Cowboy charter due back in at DFW. Brand up terminal number 3 at 8 o'clock tonight. We will be fighting about 140-mile-an-hour headwinds on the way back, which will make the trip a little longer than usual, but much more palatable for everybody when the victory has been accomplished on the road. 4th quarter score, the Jets have come from behind to lead the Cleveland Browns 34-27 now. Very important game for the Jets. And New England was trailing the Bills the last time we checked. It's 4th down. Boy, you think Miami isn't hoping for a New England loss. Motion in the line, but he got back. Here's Jaworski back to throw. Out of one tackle. Now David Stahl falls him down and has him back at the 44-yard line. The Cowboys take over. That's Stahl's 2nd sack of the day. It's the 8th for the Cowboy front 4. And they have been dealing misery to Ron Jaworski this afternoon. Boy, David Stalls has played well this afternoon. The Cowboys take over at their own 43-yard line, and they will run out the final 139 of the game. Larry Brinson is in there. Tony Dorsett comes back in, so Brinson and Dorsett will join Danny White in the backfield. Andy Frederick is up front. Jackie Smith comes in. Oh, I wish they'd throw Jackie Smith the ball. But we'll see. They will be running it. First and 10, Dallas. Everybody in tight with 1:39 to go. Brinson left side, Dorsett right side. The handoff goes to Tony. Darts to the outside, picks up 3 or 4 yards across the 45 to the 47-yard line. It'll be second down, and the clock will continue to unravel. And we'll see if the Eagles call timeout and try and make that gesture, which is really kind of meaningless. Glad to have all of you with us today, and hope you enjoyed it. And, of course, a special welcome once again to those of you in the military services around the world listening on the American Forces Network. It is always fun for all of us to have you as a part of our listening audience, and what a pleasure we derive out of hearing from you from distant parts around the globe. Second down, Jackie Smith comes to the right side, and a wing to the right. Danny White, handoff Larry Brinson. Larry up near the 50 to the 49 of Philadelphia. It'll be third down and 2 with 48 seconds to go, and the Cowboys will have time for one more play. Dallas for the day in first downs has picked up 16, and Philadelphia has 11 for the day. Brinson picked up 3 on that last carry. Cowboys are 5 out of 12 on third down conversions. They face one right now. It's going to be all over. Now, timeout has been called by Philadelphia to kill the clock with 47 seconds to go. Dallas will win it 31-13. Fourth quarter score, Buffalo 24, New England 23. They must have gotten a safety. They obviously did get a safety, and that means Buffalo will be kicking off now from their own 20, and New England has a chance. We don't know how much time is left in that game, but they will have a chance of winning it with a field goal, because it was 24-21 a few moments ago. Third down and 3 for the Cowboys. Dorsett left side, Larry Brinson to the right side. Jackie Smith comes wing to the right. Danny White under Jim Cooper has the ball. The handoff to Tony. Shakes a tackle, darts to the outside, pulls into the arms of Fergie, and will be caught short of the first down at about the 48-yard line. 36 seconds to go, and that should be the last play of the game, unless Philadelphia calls timeout once more, and I kind of doubt that they will. No, they're not going to. 25 seconds to go, and it'll be all over here shortly. Now, timeout has been called by Philadelphia. They use their second timeout, and they kill the clock with 21 seconds to go, and the Cowboys have a fourth down and 1. We'll keep our eye on that scoreboard for other scores of import for you today. Nothing up there right now. Seconds to go, 3:59 in the afternoon here in Philadelphia. And again, the Cowboy Charter due home at 8 o'clock. 11-4 for the year. And playoff hopes very bright. This could have been a very tough struggle for Dallas up here in Philadelphia after having already cinched the division with that win over New England last week. But they have played well today. Fourth down, the Cowboys will go for it. Jackie Smith starts in motion to the left side. The pitch out to Brinson. He looks for a block from Dorsett, gets it. He's got a first down and is out of bounds at the 42-yard line. And that kills the clock with 14 seconds to go, so we will have time for one more play. And then Brad Sham will be coming along after our post-game show with the locker room report, and we'll be talking with a number of the Cowboys. Roger went out 13 out of 19 for 190, no interceptions and 1 sack. And the Cowboy defense has gotten to Jaworski for a season-high total of 8 times. First down 10 with the final play to unravel right here. 3 men in the backfield for the Cowboys. Danny White gets it, falls down. And it's all over. The clock will count off now with 5 seconds remaining. Vince Papale, one of my favorite players for the Philadelphia Eagles, goes out to shake hands with some of the competition. And the Cowboys have won it as the gun has sounded. Now this is Vern Lundquist along with Brad Sham and our producer Gary Brandt saying thanks for joining us and stay tuned for the postgame show. Again, our final score today, the Cowboys 31, the Philadelphia Eagles 13. This is the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Three National Football League quarterbacks have set new standards for their respective clubs through the 14th week of the 1978 campaign, highlighted by Viking Fran Tarkenton's assault on the NFL passing records. Roger Staubach of the Cowboys and Archie Manning of the Saints are the other record setters. Tarkenton became the first National Football League player to complete over 300 passes in a season. He did that last Sunday when he hit on 30 of 56 for 289 yards and 4 touchdowns, and leading Minnesota to a come-from-behind 28-27 victory over Philadelphia. Tarkenton shattered Sonny Jurgensen's previous record of 288 completions set in 1967, and with 500 attempts, he's close to eclipsing Sonny's mark of 508 attempts, also in 1967, and in fact, Tarkenton did break that record in a losing effort on Saturday against the Detroit Lions. The accomplishments were gained in the 14-game period, which has been the length of the regular season since '61. The Minnesota Vikings have established the National Football League mark with 4 players having 50 or more pass receptions in the same season. Running back Ricky Young has a club record 78 for 638 yards, followed by wide receiver Amon Rashad, 58 for 625 yards, running back Chuck Foreman, 55 for 350 yards, and wide receiver Sammy White, 50 receptions for 680 yards. 7 teams have had 3 players catch 50 or more passes. Dallas's 10-year veteran quarterback Roger Staubach broke a club record during his team's 17-10 victory over New England last week. Staubach hit on 15 of 27 for 243 yards and 2 touchdowns to bring the season totals to 218 completions and 394 attempts. That's 3,000 yards. All of those are new marks. Staubach now owns all the Dallas passing records except Don Meredith's mark of 24 touchdown passes in 1966. Roger has 23.